96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. Prime Minister Davis discusses his administration's handling of the COVID pandemic as numbers are on the rise. The police commissioner says there's been a notable increase in crime in 2021. And it's our final show of the year 2021. We're looking back at the biggest stories of the year, the stories we should have paid more attention to, and try to predict what's ahead for 2022. It's all straight this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Revolution. Wake up. It's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is February 31st, 2021, New Year's Eve. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Stephen Hanna will be joining us. And then later in the show, we've got a special edition of Morning Blend here. As we said, our final show of the year. And we've got all of our co-hosts scheduled to join us as we assembled one of our round tables to look back at the year 2021 and the biggest stories. And want to hear from you as well, what you think were the biggest stories of the year and what the new year will bring. That's all coming up in just a bit. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, crime has increased notably in 2021 compared to last year, according to figures provided by Commissioner of Police Paul Roll. So far, 119 murders have been recorded this year, a 75% increase over the 68 recorded in 2020. Of the murders, 103 were on New Providence, 13 on Grand Bahama, and 3 in the Family Islands. 12 murders have been recorded in December alone. While Commissioner Roll yesterday noted that the crimes against the person increased overall by 19% compared to 2020. He said the figure was actually lower than that seen in December 2020. He says preliminary figures indicate that during the month of December, crimes against the person decreased by 24% and crimes against property decreased by 4% when compared to December 2020. Roll said fatal gunshots remain the leading cause of death and homicides in the country, and noted that efforts are ongoing to find and recover illegal firearms. Roll said 8 illegal firearms were recovered from the streets this month and 276 in total this year, along with 3,354 rounds of ammunition. Roll saying the importation of illegal firearms continues to be a concern to the force as citizens are availing themselves of the opportunity to purchase these weapons. Roll says several sexual crimes have been recorded in recent days, all on New Providence. He says there were 2 incidents of incest, 1 rape, and 1 indecent assault. More from that press conference with the commissioner yesterday, saying that after revealing that 13 people were killed by police this year, that they've started an internal investigations committee to look into police-involved shootings. Rose took action on the matter because he was concerned that the cases have not been moving forward quickly enough in the coroner's court. He said he could appoint his own committee, comprised of Deputy Commissioner Fernandez, Assistant Commissioner Limon Delaveau, Assistant Commissioner Zhivargo Dames, and Father Stephen Davies. Rose says there were 21 police-involved shootings in 2021, 13 of which were fatal. 7 shootings took place in December alone. And Prime Minister Philip Davis saying that he was told that former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis spoke to a member of his team asking that he investigate matters at the Bahamas Public Parks and Public Beaches Authority. Minnis has denied that claim. During a press conference at the Office of the Prime Minister yesterday, Davis was asked whether Minnis raised concerns about the authority with him before the matter was addressed in the House. Davis said that he never contacted him personally, but I raised it with a member of his team. Davis said, quote, "A member of my team did indicate that the Prime Minister was concerned about what happened at beaches and parks and that I ought to investigate it. But that did not prompt what happened without investigations." The former Minister of Administration and former executive chairman of the authority, St. Barnabas MP Shannon Don Cartwright, have come under scrutiny over pre-election contracts issued by the authority. Davis previously revealed that the authority's budget increased from $15.2 million to a projected $37 million. Cartwright has said he never did anything untoward. Overseas, new coronavirus infections soaring in Australia, hitting a record today of more than 32,000 just days after surpassing 10,000 for the first time. Experts say the explosion is being driven by the highly contagious Omicron variant and a recent relaxation of restrictions in Sydney and other areas. More than 15,000 of the new cases were reported, and another 5,000 come from elsewhere in New South Wales state, while almost 6,000 were confirmed in Victoria state, home to the second largest city in the country, Melbourne. While hospitalizations and deaths have been increasing from the surge, so far they haven't reached comparative levels seen in previous outbreaks, and many cities were planning to go ahead with New Year's Eve celebrations, including the famous fireworks display from the Sydney Harbour Bridge and Sydney Opera House. Authorities are expecting far smaller crowds than in pre-pandemic years, when as many as 1 million revelers would crowd inner Sydney. And more on New Year's Eve. Good riddance to 2021. Let 2022 bring fresh hope. That was a common sentiment as people around the world began welcoming in the new year. In many places, New Year's Eve celebrations were muted or canceled for the second straight year due to a surge of coronavirus infections, this time driven by the highly contagious Omicron. Even before Omicron hit, many people were happy to say goodbye to a second grinding year of the pandemic. But so far, at least, the Omicron surge hasn't resulted in the same levels of hospitalizations and deaths as previous outbreaks, especially among vaccinated people. And that's offering a glimmer of hope for 2022. New Zealand, of course, one of the first places to celebrate the new year, this time with a low-key lights display projected onto Auckland landmarks, including the Sky Tower and Harbour Bridge. That replaced the traditional fireworks show. While there hasn't been any community spread of Omicron in New Zealand, authorities still wanted to discourage crowds from gathering. In Japan, one writer telling the Associated Press that he would spend the next few days cooking and delivering food to the elderly because some stores would be closed. And across Japan, many people plan to take New Year's trips to spend time with families. People throng temples and shrines, most of them wearing masks. In South Korea's capital, Seoul, the annual New Year's Eve bell ringing ceremony was canceled for the second straight year due to a surge in cases. Officials said in a pre-recorded video of this year's bell ringing ceremony that would be instead broadcast live on television. The ceremony had previously drawn tens of thousands of people. Last year's cancellation was the first since the ceremony began in 1953. In India, millions of people were planning to ring in the new year from their homes, with nighttime curfews and other restrictions taking the fizz out of celebrations in large cities, including New Delhi and Mumbai. Authorities have imposed restrictions to keep revelers away from restaurants, hotels, beaches, and bars amid a surge in cases fueled by Omicron. And many Indonesians were also forging their usual festivities for a quieter evening at home after the government banned many New Year's Eve celebrations. In Jakarta, fireworks displays, parades, and other large gatherings were prohibited, while restaurants and malls were allowed to remain open but with curfews imposed. In Hong Kong, about 3,000 people plan to attend a New Year's Eve concert featuring local celebrities. The concert will be the first big New Year's Eve event held since 2018 after events were canceled in 2019 due to political strife and again last year because of the pandemic. In sports, no surprise here. Bahamian senior male athletes were bright on the world stage, but only one could be the Nassau Guardian Senior Male Athlete of the Year. That person, Speedy Stevie Gardner, reclaiming the title of Nassau Guardian's Senior Male Athlete of the Year in a unanimous decision from the three-member panel, finishing with 30 points. Finished 3 points ahead of second place Phoenix Suns center DeAndre Ayton, who got 3 second-place votes to finish with 27 points. Last year's winner, Miami Marlins infielder Jazz Chisholm, finished with 24 points as he scooped up 3 third-place votes. Sacramento Kings shooting guard Giovanni Buddy Hield, 4th, and volleyball player Eugene Stewart rounding out the top 5. You can read more about this in today's Guardian Sports section. From the NBA, Joel Embiid scored 4 points as his Philadelphia 76ers beating the Brooklyn Nets 110-102 in a game seeing Kevin Durant's return. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. Final day of 2021. We've got a robust high-pressure system situated just east of the Bahamas. That's going to continue to produce tranquil conditions across the islands through tonight. For all areas today, forecast calls for sunny and warm conditions with a stray shower or two possible, becoming fair and cool tonight. Wind southeast to south at 10 to 15 knots in the extreme northwest Bahamas, shifting east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, falling light and variable at times in the rest of the northwest and central islands, increasing to 15 knots in the southeastern Bahamas. Seas 2 to 4 feet in the northwest and central islands, but building to 3 to 5 feet in the southeast Bahamas. Currently in Nassau, it's about 71 degrees under partly cloudy skies. We're looking at highs getting up to around 84 Fahrenheit, 29 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down about 64 Fahrenheit, 18 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have an extended outlook for the first couple of days, too, coming up in just a bit.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way.
You're listening to Morning Blend on New Year's Eve 2021. When we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on your home for fresh news and smart talk all day, all year. Guardian Radio 96.9.
It's a new day.
more channels, more sports, and more speed. Now, we're giving more Christmas with up to $250,000 in cash and prizes. Sign up or upgrade to Rev Trio to win prizes like rent and mortgage payments, trips to see your favorite sports teams, plus up to $20,000 in our Rev Cash Vault. Want to win more Christmas? Call 601-8992 today and ask for Rev Trio. Rev, you and us together.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Do you want to travel this holiday season? Don't want to miss out on those doorbuster deals? Haven't gotten your COVID-19 vaccine yet? The Johnson & Johnson vaccine may be just what you need. It's one and done and fully vaccinated. For now, just one jab of this vaccine and 2 weeks later, you're fully vaccinated and ready to shop. This message has been brought to you by the Ministry of Health and this radio station.
Technology makes every day in life just a little bit easier. Whether it's for joy, productivity, or creativity, Custom Computers has all the latest gadgets to conquer any obstacle. Imagine automating mundane tasks with tech and living a freer, richer lifestyle. All goals. The path to freedom could fit in the palm of your hand. Discover tomorrow's technology today at Custom Computers on Patton Street, Cable Beach, and Caves Village through the Blake Road entrance.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line, powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Stephen Hanna will be joining us. Also this morning, after we talk about what's in the news, we are going to do our annual look back as we've assembled our entire Morning Blend crew. Well, they're scheduled to be here at least. And we're going to be talking about the year that was, the biggest stories of the year, the stories that didn't get the attention they deserved, and the other things that stood out to us and to you as well. We want to hear from you about this. I want you to call in and text us what you think the biggest stories, maybe the 5 biggest stories are of the year, or the 5 biggest lessons learned. And we're also going to get some predictions for 2022. All right, so that's all coming up. But let's begin, though, with what is in the news. And in the news, just want to let you know that today you've got to get a copy of the Nassau Guardian. It's a special 2021 Year in Review edition. And so in addition to the day's news, you'll find stories looking back at the big stories of the year. So, of course, COVID and the uncertainty that still lies ahead. Politics was a big year for politics and how the political landscape has changed. And the good stuff that happened as well as this year as well. So sports, looking back at what an incredible year it was for Bahamian athletes, and in entertainment as well. Right, we Miss Bahamas, who made it to the semifinals, and a national spelling bee champion who soared to unbelievable levels. So a lot of great stuff. It's 2021 Year in Review special edition of the Nassau Guardian. So make sure you pick up today's copy. Keep that as a piece of memorabilia, keepsake to look back in the future. All right, so that is happening. Yesterday, a couple of big press conferences. The Prime Minister marking 100 days in office, and we're going to talk a lot more about that next week on looking back at the Davis administration's first 100 days. But he talked about that and about COVID. And we also had the Commissioner of Police. I believe this is a little bit earlier than they normally do. They normally do it in January, don't they? But they're looking back at the crime stats for the year. And we'll get to the Commissioner of Police in a bit. Some very interesting things said there. But let's begin with the Prime Minister, Prime Minister Davis. And this spike in numbers, COVID numbers, causing a lot of people great concern. We had an additional death. The 3 that we told you about yesterday. All in December. So, again, we don't know if that is as a result of Omicron, if that's as a result of Delta. We don't know how long those people were sick, if they were in the hospital for a while. We don't know much. But the Prime Minister answering a lot of these questions and talking about the restrictions and the differences, why certain companies, mainly hotels, have different rules from the private sector. And take a listen to this report from our Kyle Joaquin.
Davis says his government is moving away from the idea of a shutdown, as he feels that would do far more damage to the country's economy.
Our economic crisis has been so prolonged and so severe that I am not considering any serious shutdown of economic activity.
It's a delicate balance of health and livelihood, according to Prime Minister Davis, who declared that there will be no further shutdowns that could damage the country's economy. Davis is on giving support to small businesses and expanding the public hospital's capacity in the event there is a drastic increase in hospitalizations.
Many Bahamians are earning their first steady paychecks in a long time. Many fragile, small Bahamian-owned businesses are just starting to recover. And as a country, we are taking important steps to economic recovery. So blunt instruments like shutting our borders or prolonged nationwide lockdowns are off the table.
While in opposition, Davis had repeatedly criticized measures like lockdowns and the ensuing damage done to the economy under the Minnis administration. However, some businesses like Fusion Superplex feel some measures put in place by the Davis administration are still doing damage after they've had to cancel New Year's Eve events. And with no large events allowed, Davis warned Bahamians against flocking to those resorts where celebrations will be allowed.
These hotels are, and their guests are going to socialize on New Year's Eve. It may be safer to be outside at a concert instead of inside at bars, nightclubs, and the casino. I hope that is the case. I don't want anyone to get sick in the Bahamas.
None of the major resorts have responded to any queries regarding reported cases on their properties. However, it's full steam ahead for their New Year's Eve events. Some have called it a contradiction that local event organizers have had to cancel while the show goes on at hotels.
Our health protocols are designed to reduce transmission risk while still supporting economic activity. Often, these twin goals are in contradiction with each other. It's not easy balancing act. It is not an easy balancing act. And you may think we get some of these decisions wrong. But the primary health goal is mission among Bahamians.
Distribution of free face masks at clinics and vaccination sites are set to begin shortly. As for the free testing, which was a major promise of the PLP on the campaign trail, Davis says that will begin under Providence in a few days.
Free testing should be starting imminently. We had the the pilot program in the Family Islands, and that demonstrated some of the logistical issues that we would have to address when we roll out the whole program. And so, yes, within the next couple of days in New Providence, free testing will be rolled out.
For Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Okay. Interesting comments there, definitely. Let's hear what you have to say about that. He's urging residents not to flock to the hotels because they're full. Well, yes, I would urge that too, and not to flock anywhere. But it just sounds weird when he says it. It just sounds, don't go there, that's for them. I don't know. Maybe you don't see it like that. What do you see? What do you hear from that? 323-6232, 325-4316. 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us 422-4796. Hey, all through the Nassau Guardian today, there are ads for restaurants that are attached to hotels. Yeah, promoting their events tonight. So they do want you to come. What are you going to do? How are you planning on spending New Year's Eve? Let's hear what you have to say, folks. Give us a call, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. I'm Morning Blend.
Mr. Strachan.
Hi, good morning.
Really happy New Year, you okay?
Yes, same to you.
Well, Mr. Strachan, Mr. Davis did the right thing, Mr. Strachan, let's be real now. I ain't picking you. Remember, no, you work doing the pandemic, and you did a great job, so you never lose your salary. No, you realize right now the hotels are open up, tourists in town. So all people got to do, like you said, long time, get vaccinated, obey the rules, wear your mask, and keep a distance. You don't think so?
Yes, I do. Uh-huh.
No, because what I said, right, is obviously this virus without now, it ain't deadly. So it's no need to panic the tongue, close the tongue down.
Well, we don't know that yet. There were 4 deaths. There were 4 deaths in the last couple of days. We don't know if those people have been sick for a long time.
Mr. Strachan, I tell you the truth, right? People right now who are dying right now. Mr. Strachan, you said a long time ago, get vaccinated, protect yourself. Do you agree?
Yes, yes.
No,
we
I
definitely were.
Right? Mr. Strachan, life goes on. You have to, the boy and everybody out there, go get vaccinated, protect yourself.
Well, okay. Yeah, that's right. But people are still getting sick, even if they are vaccinated. So, all right, and so that means it's still able to spread it. And there are a lot of children who aren't vaccinated. And there's a lot of things, right? So it can't be that casual. And so you do wonder, yes, they're tourists and people need their jobs, but you're still creating an environment that could potentially spread the thing further. And just because they are hotels and jobs are attached and money needs to be made, does it mean you have to throw your hands up and say, oh, well, we will let them do that, but everywhere else? Just asking. Maybe that is the answer. Maybe that's, you need the money to buy the medication that you'll need to feel a little better while you go through the journey of COVID. Perhaps. Okay. Well, continue to call in 323-325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us 422-4796. More from that. You continue to. Oh, yeah, let's take that one. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
Season's greeting, and, I hope to be with Guardian for the next 10 years from now.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Y'all been good. Y'all been a good force in this country, I think, I would say, in over the last 9 years. Y'all really caused me to be a more caring and vigilant person about what's going on in the country, right? That's the opportunity what Guardian gave to me. And when it comes to what the Prime Minister said, I really think it's the critical balancing act really need to be is the lifeline of this country. And whilst COVID is continuing to make an impact in the world, I'm in our country, we still gonna have to find a way, to balance this out. Being safe and you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
We can kind of just drop our hands and one look. We need to find ways to live because that's what life is about, surviving, and we can need to find a way collectively as a people to survive. You know what I'm saying, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And right before I go, right?
Mm-hmm.
I won three prizes last week, right? But I only was able to pick up one. I think he might be coming back next week.
If you are who I think you are, your stuff should be at the front desk.
Okay.
Yeah, waiting.
Thank you very much and be safe, sir.
Okay, sure, no problem. Enjoy. Season's greetings, of course. Happy New Year to you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your support over these years. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
All right, Stephen Hanna is joining us. Good morning, Stephen Hanna. Happy New Year's Eve. Okay, you sound as excited as always. Great stuff. New Year's approaching.
Happy New Year's Eve as well.
Yeah, why not?
It's a lot.
Not really, no. All right, we got another call. Let's take it. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Hi, caller. Good morning. Are you there? Did we lose him? Okay, call back. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Yep, okay.
How you doing?
Oh, you're there. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. This has been a trying year for a good morning to you, sir, for doing a divine appointed type job with your organization, how y'all have cared, at least shown your caring and your compassion towards me, Amos Jr. Miller, and my Bahamian people who I live all my life among. One thing I want in the new year, with the help of God that I am praying for, that when our governments allow foreigners to come and do business in our country, that our government do not allow foreigners to take advantage of the people by throwing away their things, knowing the people has hardship already, financially, economically, and to have to get lawyers and all this stuff. The ombudsman, organization must be established in 2020. The people who sick before COVID, some of these people, foreigners, are destroying further economically. I am asking my Prime Minister, especially the Deputy Prime Minister who is in charge of tourism, to please look in to the matters that Amos Jr. Miller has articulated before the world. Because if not, with no disrespect, and I'm making no threat, I cannot make any threat, I'm just saying I will be forced to do whatever I have to say and do to bring my concerns to the forefront. Not because it was Bahamian business being to the back in 2021, and it was confirmed by an outgoing prime minister. This atrocity, this egregious corruption and treason, if it does not change, will cause global, international condemnation they want to accomplish in our country.
Producer, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Well, hopefully that will work out, definitely. Okay, getting more of your reaction here on the text line. Somebody's asking, did I hear the Fusion said they're not having any New Year's events? I believe that's what they said. Is that what they said? Yeah.
No, right. Isn't it done? It was canceled already.
Sorry?
I thought the event was canceled.
Yeah, a lot of the groups said that. Yeah, many of the companies did that. So that's what we're saying, right? The hotels and their restaurants, no changes. But everybody else basically did that. And Department's trying to explain that, This texter here says the POP hypocrisy train is allowing hotels to do whatever they want, but land-based admins for allowing bars and hotels to operate. It looks like we have a new COVID-19 variant called PLB hypocrisy. Government hypocrisy. That's how it is all the time.
I feel like y'all just going on to these political party things all the way through to 2024. 2025. When is election?
Anytime the prime minister's ready. But
it's just like, like you say, it's like, if you want to say government hypocrisy, if you want to like accuse a particular person, but like when we start picking up party banners so early or refuse to put them down, it's like, that's not going to be helpful at all, because all we're doing is building this us versus them mentality. And in all actuality, individuals don't ever take actual responsibility. If you feel like somebody said something wrong, then you point and say, this person is doing this wrong thing or whatever. But it's like, if we are always PLPF and PLPF, we ain't gonna ever get nowhere, guys.
Well, some of that is intentional. Some of that's what they want. They really want that.
Yeah, it builds up this weird binary, and they're like, well, you see, the PLP do this. That's why you need to go back to the F&M. Or the F&M do this. That's why you need to come home to the BLP. And it's like, let's talk about specific issues and then say why specific policies didn't work, as opposed to just being, all this gang warfare.
Yeah. Another call here. Good morning, call. You're on there.
Yes, good morning, Glenn. Trust you're having a wonderful day.
Yes.
Some days begun a long time ago. The Prime Minister is actually saying, stay home. This is what I really saying in a gentle way. Stay home. There's a lot of sick people coming to party. We need to have the doors open, because that's how some part of our economy thrives. But don't mix up with them people, because you may have one who may bring the Amalgam virus. You never know. Stay home. But, I feel as though we need to change. Hello?
Yeah, we're listening.
Yeah, I feel as though we need to change this mindset of having to start over again, a new year. I think we need to be thinking more continuous than starting again, just reset. And we don't do that. We don't move forward when we keep resetting. And I think we need to change the way we look at that, because, two ways you can look at it. Either you keep going back and forward, or you just keep going forward. Which one are we actually doing?
We are moving. We are moving. But everyone says that. But by the third week in January, they're back to what they were doing before, most people. So it kind of does work out the way you're saying for a lot of people. But, it gives people hope that they can be a better version of themselves. So I'm not too mad at it. And people make some effort, and some do realize some things they never thought they could do. So, hey, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
What? Could we gym for 4 weeks?
Maybe.
2.5 weeks.
Or that you could eat more vegetables, so that you could drink a whole lot more water, and that you felt good about it. And maybe you do incorporate more. Maybe not as much as you should. Do what, sorry?
Bahamians, we like to borrow everybody else celebrations and festivities. Will Bahamians be participating in dry January?
I'm sure some will.
So not the people who already don't drink. We're like, as a like how Thanksgiving is forced down our throats every November. Will there be stores with bars celebrating dry January with us and say, try our soft drink special?
Hey, that's a good idea. I don't think about that. That's a really good idea. Yeah. This text here, government will not shut you down, but COVID will. With too many people getting COVID and can't come to work. See what's happening in the USA, starting with the airlines. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to get into the other press conference from yesterday, the Commissioner of Police, and what he had to say, including the notable increase in crime and the murder rate. We're back into the triple digits. Back in the triple digits with murder. We're going to talk about all of that coming up after the break. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9 on New Year's Eve. Stay with us. We're going to be back.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room. Let heaven and nature sing.
Unlock the value of your home with an RBC home equity loan and do more for the holidays, like home improvements, investments, and build back your savings. When you switch your mortgage to RBC, experience the difference with no management fees, cash back on closing costs, and guidance from our mobile mortgage finance specialists. Learn more at rbc.com/Caribbean/equity loan and experience holiday joy with RBC. Offer extended to December 31st. Conditions apply.
There's only one way to have a better morning. How? Start your mornings the best way with our 2 for $6 breakfast sandwiches at Wendy's. For a limited time, choose any 2 of your favorite breakfast sandwiches, including the fresh Strachan sack muffin, honey buttermilk chicken biscuit, double sausage muffin, or the sausage our cold brew shake or coffee. Better mornings always start at Wendy's. Wendy's, different inside and out. Excludes airport locations.
Hi, this is Shivago Lang, host of Z Live, wishing you and your family a very Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year from Guardian Radio 96.9 FM.
Whenever you want, wherever you are, for all your banking needs, we make it easy. CIBC, First Caribbean, we've got all your banking solutions. CIBC, First Caribbean. CIBC, First Caribbean.
And it's time at 7:15 for your first look at traffic this morning on New Year's Eve. Here's what's happening out there in real-time traffic. Not much at all. Not really much to talk about at all. Not many people out on the streets, and it's smooth sailing for you. Just at some of the major intersections, you'll see a couple of cars in front of you. So this will last. It won't be long before things get back to the normal chaos we see. But that's your first look at traffic this morning. We'll have another report for you after the 8 o'clock news. Morning traffic brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. Banking reimagined. And 7:17, the time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Bud Light. We've got a robust high-pressure system situated east of the Bahamas that's going to continue to produce tranquil conditions across the islands through tonight. So for all areas today on this New Year's Eve, sunny and warm with a stray shower or 2 possible. Becoming fair and cool tonight. Temperatures getting up to around 84 Fahrenheit, 29 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 64 Fahrenheit, 18 Celsius. In your extended outlook, pleasant weather conditions will continue into the new year. Meanwhile, the high-pressure system will begin to shift eastwards ahead of an approaching cold front, which will move into the area by Sunday night and drop temperatures just a little. So for tomorrow, Saturday, New Year's Day 2022, mostly sunny and warm with a few light showers. Sunday, partly sunny to sunny and very, very warm with a stray shower or 2 possible. Again, that cold front, you'll feel that change by Monday. More rain expected on Monday as well. But more comfortable conditions for the start of the work week on Tuesday. That's Morning Blend Weather Check, brought to you by Bud Light. Bud Light wants to take you to Super Bowl 2022. Purchase a Bud Light 6-pack and enter to win an all-expenses-paid trip to take you back to the stadium. Bud Light and Super Bowl 2022. We'll be back with more Morning Blend after these messages here on Guardian Radio 96.9.
It's BTC, 12 days of Christmas giveaways. That's right, BTC is giving you free cash and prizes for the next 12 days leading up to Christmas. On the first day of Christmas, BTC gave to me free cash, free service, and a free prize from BTC. Just pay your bill in full or sign up for any service, and you can be a winner with our 12 days of Christmas promotions. There'll be Christmas from BTC. Yeah.
John knows everything, yeah? Him say the COVID-19 vaccine have a microchip to track us.
He said on Facebook that Omicron is a transformer. It makes us shape-shift, and the vaccine is powerless against shape-shifting.
John even tweeted that the vaccine can make you impotent.
Stop. That information is false. Don't be a John or Nikki. Don't spread inaccurate or misleading information online. Misinformed equals misinformation. Get COVID-19 vaccine facts from established sources such as the WHO or the National Health Agency in your country. This message is brought to you by CSSF, Cyber and Technology Program, and Get Safe Online. Visit getsafeonline.bs.
When engaging in physical activity, it is normal for the body to get tired and fatigued. In the same way, COVID-19 has brought on fatigue, but we must not give up the fight. Wear your mask over your mouth and nose, stay at least 3 feet apart from others, wash and sanitize your hands often, and avoid touching your face. Together, we will win.
This message is brought to you by the PAHO WHO Bahamas and Turks and Caicos Country Office, the Ministry of Health, and the Healthy Bahamas Coalition.
Whenever you want, wherever you are, for all your banking needs, we make it easy. CIBC, First Caribbean, we've got all your banking solutions. CIBC, First Caribbean. CIBC, First Caribbean.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long may this whole world in sin and error pining till he appear and the soul felt his words. A thrill of hope, the very born rejoicing, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Oh,
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, our final show for the year for 2021, New Year's Eve. And coming up in a few minutes, we're going to be talking about the year that was, the biggest stories of the year, and what we think the new year will bring. That's coming up in a few minutes. I want to hear from you about that as well, coming up in just a bit. We continue, though, talking about what's in the news. Dwight Strachan, along with Stephen Hanna. And another big press conference yesterday, this time from the Royal Bahamas Police Force, the Commissioner of Police, Paul Roll, giving some of the crime stats. Crime up for the full year, especially murder. And we're back in triple-digit territory, especially for New Providence. For more on this, take a listen to this report from our Berthany McDermott.
According to the police commissioner, 119 homicides have been recorded so far for 2021, a 75% increase compared to the 68 homicides in 2020.
There were 103 murders in New Providence, 13 in Grand Bahama, and 3 in the Family Islands. For the month of December 2021, we recorded 12 homicides. Fatal gunshots remain the leading cause of death.
He said crimes against the person dropped, while crimes against their property saw a 4% decrease. Roll also reported a single-digit increase in police-involved shootings compared to 2020. Back in January, Roll said there were 20 police-involved shootings in 2020, 11 of which were fatal. So far for 2021, he said there were 21 incidents, 13 of which were fatal. 7 occurred in December, 2 of them were fatal. The latest incident occurred just Wednesday night in Grand Bahama.
Officers were on mobile patrol in the Warren J. Lavarity Highway leading into 8 Mile Rock when they observed individuals in a small Nissan Note discharging shots at persons in a Honda Fit. Officers then pursued this vehicle that took them into the Hawksbill area and into the South Bohemia, where the individuals, as they were being pursued, discharged shots at the police vehicle.
Roll said police returned fire. 2 of the assailants were shot by the officers. Police are also reporting 34 armed robberies for the month of December. The police commissioner said the majority of these incidents occurred as individuals were arriving home. There were also 4 recent sexual offenses.
In the rape matter, a 29-year-old woman was walking in the area of Carmichael Primary when she was attacked and sexually assaulted. I cannot express enough to encourage young women and all alike not to walk in dark areas alone. This occurred around 5 a.m. in the morning.
He said police have also seen an uptick in the trend. In December, 43 individuals were charged for possession of dangerous drugs.
We recovered 3,154 pounds of cocaine during the month of December alone. An additional 647 pounds of marijuana and 88 ecstasy tablets. We identified the cocaine with a link to Venezuela and marijuana with a link to Jamaica.
Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Berthany McDermott.
Okay. Was that just me, or what was happening just now? Did everybody hear that?
Hear what?
Okay. Well, if I'm not the only one who heard it, whatever that was, I apologize, folks. Okay. Anyway, yeah, let's talk about it. The numbers were in triple digits again, first time in a while. 2019, before the pandemic, we had 95, and 2018, 91. It's still well above where it's supposed to be, which is 0. But on average, where we are supposed to be, according to global figures, what they say, more like 30-something, right? In a country of this size. But here we go, back up there. Of course, people knew this was going to happen, as last year with the curfews and lockdowns, that definitely did change people's behavior somewhat. But we know that the problem didn't go away, and that was just a temporary lull, and we've been saying that. And we knew that there were no real strategies that had been brought into play that would have resulted, based on those strategies, in any change. And the people were either just doing what they had to do earlier in the day or biding their time, just waiting for new opportunities. And here we are, again, never addressing the issue. But yeah, so that's happening. And at the same time, we are seeing an increase in police-involved shootings, to the point where the commissioner is concerned that he's had to form his own committee as things aren't moving quickly enough in the coroner's court. Take a listen to what he's saying here in this report from our Tashina Robinson.
What I have done is to appoint my own committee within the Royal Bahamas Police Force, which is comprised of Deputy Commissioner Fernanda, Assistant Commissioner Lehman Delavo, Assistant Commissioner Shivago Dames, and Father Stephen Davies. And I have mandated them to look at every one of those police-involved shootings.
In all, police were involved in 21 shootings this year. 8 of those incidents weren't fatal. Now, what's noteworthy is 7 shootings occurred in December alone. The commissioner said there are 5 incidents in particular he asked the committee to investigate first. Mr. Rowe said the coroner's court will advise if it believes police action was justified or not. If necessary, the matter will then proceed to the Attorney General's office. Commissioner Rowe is hoping the newly formed police committee speeds up the justice process.
That's up to the coroner whether they will accept my recommendation or not. But the pressure is on me. You know, I feel it. And so I'm trying to do this because I want the Bahamian people to know that I'm not going to be covering nothing. Whatever the information is, we're going to make it available to the members of the public.
1 week after the December 23rd slaying of businessman Leon Griffin outside his home, police have reclassified the case, according to the police commissioner.
We are continuing to investigate that the murder with Leon Griffin. I don't believe that armed robbery, what is developing now, does not appear to be armed robbery. But I can say that we are following significant leads. We have a young man in custody now. Well, not in custody, but who's giving us some information.
Mr. Griffin is the husband of former Social Services Minister Melanie Griffin. She discovered his body behind the wheel of his car parked in the couple's driveway. Police have yet to disclose a motive for the murder.
All right, our Tashina Robinson with that report there. So a lot of interviews on it there. We, of course, when we discussed this last week, many people were texting in and said it was obvious to them. They're not police officers that was not a mere armed robbery. But okay. But yeah, let's talk about these numbers. What do you make of it? The guns, yes, we need to find out how the guns are getting in. Sure. But again, the people of the country, many of them desire the guns very badly. What are we doing about that?
Is that a tax you're reading, or is that?
No, that's me. That's me. Because I know people are going to call it. We need to figure out how the guns are getting in. We're going to be, yes, of course.
I meant your syntax, but okay.
But just the root, the real problem, why everybody feels they need to have a gun. That's what we need to address.
I mean, I don't feel like the average Bahamian has ever even held a gun.
Has what, sorry?
I don't think that the average Bahamian has even held a gun. I think that it's just a situation where it's like any number is a significant number. So if 6% of the population has illegal guns, then of course, because that's what we report. We don't report people buying notebooks. We report people with guns. So I don't know if it's necessarily that there are a ton of Bahamians who want a gun. I think that the person
You hope.
I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. I don't think. I don't have the statistics with me, but I don't think that there's a ton of Bahamians who want a gun. But the ones who do have guns are clearly, they want them for a reason, and they have a use for them. And so that is presenting a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if necessarily even the people who listen to the show, I don't know how many of them outside of the business owners possess a gun. You know what I mean?
Possess and wanting are different, but yes. Okay. I bet that there's a lot more than you think for everything. Want, have touched, possess, all of it, especially some of our younger people. But let's get your views, folks. Give us a call, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. The numbers are going up, folks. The numbers are going up. What does that mean? Are we going to blame the police force and the government, or are we going to start, because every time we say it, we get a lot of criticism for it, but start looking within our homes at what's going on. Something is very, very wrong. Right, every day. Did you see it over the weekend? All the shootout at the gas station. What was that? you think you're in a movie? You think you're in a rap video? What's the issue? But this is the normal way of living. There was another one where the people didn't even move when the gunshots started. It's like, oh, they're crazy. Hey? And then they just stood there and did a little dodging. But what is happening? And I'm telling you, I mean, thinking that this is just an outlier group is likely why we are where we are now. I don't think it is. I don't think it is. And then the response from a lot of people will be, well, because all these thugs have guns, I need to get one too. And that's a common response. And of course, that means everybody's packing. And at any minute, any little thing could result in somebody having their head blown off, who probably had nothing to do with this thing. Boy, yeah. All right. So text us 422-4796. Call in and tweet us and Facebook us. This person here says, this is back to COVID. The idea that we need to completely eliminate COVID is unrealistic. Omicron isn't as deadly as Delta. It's time to start using data instead of intuition in making these policy decisions. Another one here. Hope all the best for your show in the new year. And doesn't the government have to go to Parliament to implement a curfew or lockdown? Okay, well, no one's mentioning that at all. But anyway, this one says the POP government wants desperately to remain popular with the behaving people by not locking us down. However, COVID will. It's just a matter of time. A country of sick and infected people won't be able to work anyway. This one says, crime can't be zero. The point of laws is to make a natural behavior of society illegal. It is an attempt to alter the behavior of society different by legalizing violence against citizens by the government.
You know, every time I hear somebody say stuff like that, it's like, crime can be zero. Like, what you have there is the inability to count and a lack of imagination. So, like, the fact that you've never experienced zero crime doesn't mean the crime can't be zero. The numbers are, you're counting stuff that happens, which means it's finite. It's possible on either end for it to either be zero or a certain number, but crime can only be a certain number. And so, like, and one of those numbers could be zero. Mm-hmm. It's just that certain things have to happen. Are you willing to do the things that it would take for that to happen? The same thing applies for education. The same thing applies for jobs, for poverty, and not on the poor people, on the rich people.
Yeah,
it's like we could have everybody able to buy a house, but there are certain things that need to happen, like the demolition of the real estate agency industry. But I'm just saying, certain things would have to happen, right? You'd have to get rid of the whole real estate thing. But
repurposing, maybe.
No, not repurposing. You have to get rid of all the real estate stuff. And because we're not willing to let that happen, people will continue to be homeless and or die not being able to pay their mortgage. But the whole point is, things can happen. We can have the best possible version of the Bahamas.
Yeah.
If we are willing to put the effort that it takes to make that happen. We're not.
Yes.
That's why the schools will remain the way they are. That's why the country will remain the way it is. That's why crime will remain the way it is. Mm-hmm. Because we're like, oh, how can we get it to be perfect if I don't change any of my personal behavior, any of my collective behavior?
Absolutely.
How can we do it? No, what you're doing is you're maintaining the status quo. So You're right. Under these circumstances, with the effort that we are now putting in, with the resources that are put in place, no, crime will never be zero. Rape will continue to escalate. Violent crimes will continue to escalate. Because that is we are maintaining, which is actually growth in this situation. It might be growth of 1 or 2%, but that's all we're doing.
Yeah. Excellent points. This person here says the desire for guns among these criminals is the same as violence against gender, exploitation of the weak. We really need to understand that this is the root cause of violence. Right? This person says, I think the lockdowns and curfew did what they were supposed to do, deter crime. If they were honest about it, they would tell us that the main reason for them under the guise of COVID. Here we are, free as a bird, and crime is up. All right, and what about it? What now? So what do you want to do? To get the crime back down, go back on a lockdown, go back on a curfew? what do we do now? Or are we willing now to address, as Stephen just said, right, the behaviors that are the root cause of all the problems that we're seeing? There are countries much larger than the Bahamas that barely have crime. The issues they have, one person loses it, and maybe like places like
Not
Japan.
even that.
Rarely.
Right. They don't shoot up the place in Japan. They go on a stabbing spree because
something like that. Right.
No, because of like even the access to certain means are not available. It is our proximity to the United States and us ingesting the idea that we have Second Amendment rights in the Bahamas when we don't even have one amendment to our Constitution is the problem.
Yeah.
All right? It's like, let's amend our Constitution at least one time before we start adopting other person's amendments.
Well, so those are things that people tell you that you can leave your wallet in a crowded restaurant or in a mall of eating.
And you could do it in some, you used to be able to do it in some family islands until Nassau people moved there.
Yeah. But you could do these things and no one's going to bother it. They're not going to take it. They're not going to go inside it. You could leave your phone and these things, people just won't do this, right? So what's the difference? What's happened? What's happened to us? And we need to figure that out. But I don't think we are willing to do this. You don't seem to be interested. Is that a call? But yeah, call him 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 4224. Commissioner and the committee that he's put in. I see Father Davies is on it. I was saying, well, maybe they could have one or two people who aren't affiliated with the force. Independent.
I mean, the persons who put there are, I recognize some of the names. You know, some of the names are decent people.
I'm sure they are decent, but we need some people on the outside, people who aren't that close to the force, who can really see this thing with fresh eyes. And
I want to know when the paperwork is done, when the report is submitted, what will be done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we look into it and we come to a certain conclusion. All right, then what? Because I mean, my imagination is that the result of this commission will find a problem. Otherwise, they will have to have another commission, because if that's not the problem, then the problem must be something else. Like, they have to come to a conclusion. All right? So once we get that, what is going to be the plan? Is it going to be a restructuring of the force? Is it going to be, well, we need to either retrain a bunch of persons or we need to get rid of a bunch of persons? There needs to be the same way where I don't even know if we do this in the Bahamas, but I assume that if you work, that you're never allowed to work in any financial institution ever again in life.
Well, don't hold your breath.
That's not what happens, Dwight.
I've heard otherwise.
I know. If you caught doing something dumb in media, usually you gotta take a very long sabbatical. Like, you don't get a job the next. No. What are you saying, Dwight?
What is dumb?
Wait. So you're saying that?
Well, that's not.
If I was a
event,
politician and I was caught doing something like stealing or lying or something, the next day I could go and continue to be a government official somewhere?
I'll message you some names.
Wow.
But okay.
So then what are we complaining about? So the whole country.
But what I would like to know, is the committee just for these, or is it going to be an ongoing thing? That this will be an Internal Affairs Committee? Well, they probably need that. They need that.
Don't they have one?
Clearly not.
I mean, it's not called that, but like the complaints department or whatever.
Okay. Well, obviously they need to have a special unit to investigate police-involved shootings permanently. And But, a lot of this would be made a lot easier if the body cams were on. And do we know if they are? And how are they using this information? This would greatly ease some of the confusion, if there is. Wouldn't there? Wouldn't it do that?
What?
If they had these, all right.
They are working. They do have them.
Okay.
I've witnessed them. I've seen the body cam.
Mm-hmm.
I know that they exist, and I know that they work. I've seen the shot spotter. So the question the question is if the policy is in place for them to begin using them.
Well, so
because you need, if somebody says you have to go out with it on, that's a different thing than would you like to take a body cam with you? Because we have this thing here. So that's two different things going on. So
we got to take a break. But before we do, just want to quickly mention this. This is in the Guardian business section today. The headline, government willing to table the Grand Lucayan deal. Jasper Ward writes, the Davis administration is willing to table the recently terminated Grand Lucayan deal in Parliament if the public wants it. Prime Minister Philip Brave Davis said yesterday. Huh? What's that? What does that mean?
They're willing to table the deal.
If we want it. Well, first of all, we want it. We've been asking for it. And what do you mean? This is how you're going to do it? Y'all really want this? How bad y'all want this? Show me. Dance. Well, what is this? What? Okay. He went on to say, it did not occur to us whether we should or not. But if you think that's a cry of the public, we could. He went on to say, I would just ask the Minister of Tourism, the Minister of Tourism and Investment to lay it on the table. I think it does deserve a communication from him as to where we were, where we are, and where we intend to go. That will perhaps include laying those documents on the table of the House. Okay. What am I missing? Okay. This is funny. This is a funny place. Let's read some messages as we go to the break. Somebody says here, what I find amazing. Where did it go? What I find amazing is Mr. Davis is telling Bahamians not to go to the hotels for New Year's Eve celebration, but yet restricting Bahamians from having events, another discriminatory move, shameful. This one says, maybe if the masses felt the burden of another lockdown because of criminal behaviors, many would get up and get involved with stamping out this behavior. Sure, because that happened before, right? Yeah. Okay. This one says here, it all starts with leadership, so ask Brave what he's doing, what he's going to do. Man's had better control of what? Ask the Count Minister, that's very shady. Count Minister Darville, when will he and Wayne Monroe address the businesses that draw crowds? Just look around every night on our streets. New day? I thought Brave said he has the tools to keep us safe. I'm a Bahamian citizen, also American. I have my CPL for the United States, which is concealed weapon carry. I spend about 13 hours a week in the gun range. I know a lot about guns and gun safety. Tell me, please, why it is only the criminals and the police officers that can carry a pistol in the Bahamas. When are the law-abiding citizens, who are the majority, going to demand justice? What's the justice?
Well, when everybody has access to proper mental health resources, then we can have this conversation. I don't even mean that as a joke. I mean it very seriously, because I don't trust the average Bahamian with a stick, right? I am so serious. Every time I go walking in the morning, right? I am the only person walking without a 2x4 inside their hand, and nobody is carrying it for dogs. Because everybody is so on edge and so hyped up, thinking that somebody's going to attack them, right? That it's you gotta and as a large black man with dreadlocks, I have to make sure that I say good morning 3 times anytime I'm 20 feet away from a woman, because I could see the look of paranoia and terror on their face, right? And sometimes I'm like, maybe I should just switch roadsides and run into traffic so that this woman doesn't think I'm about to attack her. And it's that is something that can only be dealt with as a corporate therapy. We need, as a country, to figure out, to get to the bottom of these issues, to say, okay, why is it that some people don't feel safe in this country? Why is it that some people feel like everybody's out to get them? There's a whole lot of things. And I'm not saying that there's no one out to get anybody. I'm not saying that there is no That does happen. But because we have gone through so much trauma collectively from our childhood to our adolescence to our adulthood now, we are not responsible enough to just be throwing out guns like candy just because you turn 18. I don't trust Bahamians with cars.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
same way you say everybody needs to have, what it is, driver's ed.
Yes.
Everybody needs to have therapy because
Absolutely.
these people don't know how to drive and you want to give them a gun? Have you seen what they could do with a passo? Imagine if you give them a 45.
Yeah, it
There'd
would be
bodies
chaos.
on the side of the road. The garbage truck would have to pick up bodies. That's how much people would be on the side of the road because we have an anger problem. We are incapable of rationalizing and reasoning with each other. I do not want us to give out guns like we're giving out T-shirts before an election.
Yes, and the same ones who are saying that they are responsible citizens, those are the same ones who are the most dangerous ones.
Maybe they are, but maybe they are responsible citizens, but there are a ton of not responsible citizens. And we see that by look how much people are still garbage on the side of their car. Look how much people is turned right on a red light.
Yeah.
Look how much people park in the middle of the road.
We got to go to break. I hear a couple messages as we go. This person says, I've known several people in the financial industry who got fired for stealing and found it easier to get another job in the industry than those fired for any. This person says, hey, LOL, you mad, Dwight? Don't get mad. Be glad. This is what you'll be voting for 50 years, a bunch of smoke and mirrors. This one says, Dwight, calm down. You're going to burst a blood vessel. And, okay. This person says, I agree with Stephen. You have to walk with a piece of wood or rock or something. No, that's not what Stephen's saying. Anyway, all right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, our roundtable, we're going to look back at the year that was and look ahead to 2022. The whole Morning Blend team is going to be with us. And we want to hear from you as well. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Let's go! Yes, sir! Arawak invaders, swingers, warriors, crusaders. Arawak invaders, swingers, warriors, crusaders. Arawak invaders, swingers, warriors, crusaders. This kind of rhythm bring people in from far. Michael Jordan, Oprah, and many other stars. Just to see Willa Francis do the ching chang dance. If you look too long, you will fall into a trance. He's a Bohemian and he's proud to be on Northern Undervalley.
Technology makes every day in life just a little bit easier. Whether it's for joy, productivity, or creativity, Custom Computers has all the latest obstacle. Imagine automating mundane tasks with tech and living a freer, richer lifestyle, all while staying on top of your goals. The path to freedom could fit in the palm of your hand. Discover tomorrow's technology today at Custom Computers on Patton Street, Cable Beach, and Caves Village through the Blake Road entrance.
RBC can help you wrap up the year with holiday joy with an affordable auto financing package. Take advantage of up to 100% financing, competitive interest rates, extended repayment terms, backed by our mobile auto RBC sales experts who will meet with you safely at your convenience. Find out more at rbc.com/Caribbean/autoloan and experience holiday joy with RBC. Offer extended to December 31st. Conditions apply.
You've tried everything. ASUS with your mother's cousin's sister's auntie, and even hiding your money under your mattress. But is your money safe? Your Bahamian dollar deposit in a member bank or credit union is insured up to $50,000. If anything happens, your deposit up to the insured value will be returned to you thanks to Deposit Insurance. Visit Deposit Insurance Corporation at www.dic.bs.
Protection for your money guaranteed with DIC.
For 38 years, Strachan Commercial Pest Services has provided trained certified technicians while using environmentally safe, industry standard products. Pests can devastate your business. Together, we will ensure adequate sanitation standards and safe pests. Uncontrolled pest problems lead to significant financial loss due to food contamination, business disruption, and stock waste. Strachan provides detailed solutions protecting your business and reputation. Strachan, #1 in pest control services.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio. That is New Year's Eve, our last show for 2021. And I'm here with Stephen Hanna, but we also have the entire Morning Blend team with us. We've got Monday co-host Pamela Musgrove. Pamela, good morning.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Bahamas.
Great to have you with us. We've got
Good to be back.
Tuesday co-host Don Sargent. Good morning, Don.
Morning, Dwight.
Happy New Year's Eve to you. And we have Wednesday co-host Chester Robards.
What up?
Good morning, Chester.
Good morning.
Always a pleasure. And of course, Thursday co-host Laverne Gardner. Good morning, Laverne.
Good morning.
Great to have you with us again. So everybody's here. And
Friday co-host?
Yes, Steven's here. I mentioned that earlier. Steven's here.
Hey, Steven.
We're having a great conversation.
What's up, Chester?
Okay, he wants me to do that. So, and of course, Friday co-host Stephen Hanna has been with us. Stephen, good morning again.
I don't like how you're belittling my presence.
Well, no, because you already mentioned you. I said it. I'm here with Stephen, but anyway, Stephen Hanna.
Wow.
Happy New Year's Eve. Again.
Thanks.
Okay, so we have another round table. What am I hearing? Am I going crazy? Are you all hearing that? Is there somebody else in our Zoom room? What am I hearing? Is it me? Have I finally lost it?
Yep.
Okay. Well,
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
somebody's in here. But anyway, okay.
Voices are in your head.
Maybe. I don't know. I have something open. Somebody has something open. And I'm hearing a discussion woman. She's not happy. And she's saying some serious things. But okay. Anyway, let's move on. 2020. 2021.
It finally happened, guys.
Yeah. Well,
finally happened.
9 years on the radio. That's what it did. What a year. What a year. I went back to listen to our roundtable discussion from last year. Laverne, you were the only one who wasn't here for that as yet. But the things that we were talking about, we could run that and people wouldn't know the difference. The year with the same issues that we were facing last year, we faced this year. Uncertainty about COVID, so many. Okay, folks, something's going on.
I just want to say that I heard it just now.
Yeah, I hear it. I heard
it.
We're all
hearing it now.
I've been hearing that.
The voices have escaped your head, and we're all hearing it.
That's the ghost of Vought.
Okay, and again, they are not saying things that are fit for radio. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but I apologize.
What are y'all hearing?
Okay, we're all hearing it. The audience members are texting and saying they're hearing it too. So we got to sort that out. Maybe we'll do that during the news, but let's quickly get something in before the news. 2021, did you expect it to be a near copy of 2020, with the exception of the election? Anticipating the year would be. Anybody can jump in there.
No.
This
election ain't supposed to happen yet.
Do you mean
supposed to happen 3 months from now?
Do you mean in relation to the pandemic or just the year?
To everything, that the issues that we always talk about remained. We didn't seem, Pam, I listened to what you were saying. You were saying we should use the time, the lockdowns, the curfews to fix the things that needed to be fixed, the infrastructure. We didn't do that. We didn't do that.
No.
So many things we could have addressed, not touched. And instead, we went to an election, and that got people distracted. And we are in the same position we are now that we were in 2019 and earlier than that. And we repeated everything we did in 2020 for the most part. I'm disappointed. I want to hear more from you when we get back after the news. We'll get into it. So we're going to talk about the biggest stories of the year, the stories we should have paid more attention to, and looking forward to 2022. We want to hear from you all as well, our listeners. So join us when we get back from the news. Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook Morning Blend 969. Text us 422-4796. And now at 8:26, it is time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. Here's what's happening on this New Year's Eve. We've got a robust high-pressure system just east of the Bahamas that's going to continue to produce tranquil conditions across the country on this final day of the year. Into tonight, for all areas, look for sunny and warm conditions with a stray shower or two, becoming fair and cool tonight. Temperatures getting up to around 84 Fahrenheit, 29 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 64 Fahrenheit, 18 Celsius. In your extended outlook for the new year, for the start of the new year, 2022, we're looking at pleasant conditions to continue. Meanwhile, the high-pressure system will begin to shift eastwards ahead of an approaching cold front that'll move in by Sunday evening into Monday morning and bring some enhanced rain activity as well. So for tomorrow, New Year's Day, Saturday, mostly sunny and warm with a few light showers. Sunday, partly sunny to sunny and very warm with a stray shower or two possible. And again, that cold front will move in that night and into Monday, bringing chances and slightly cooler temperatures behind. That's your Morning Blend weather check, brought to you by Bahamas First General Insurance Company. If other people sometimes drive your car, having open driver insurance coverage is a good idea to maintain your peace of mind. And now it's available for free for qualified drivers over 25 on new private motor policies. Contact a Bahamas First agent to get a quote for enhanced private motor insurance protection. Terms and conditions apply. Bahamas First, what's first for you comes first for us. And time for another check of your traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. In your real-time traffic, still looking really good out there. No issues to talk about this morning. The hot spots aren't hot at all, and just intersections. And hopefully they'll stay that way for the whole weekend. And that is your real-time traffic. And the Morning Blend Traffic Alert brought to you by RBC Royal Bank, banking reimagined. We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan. We've got a special edition of the show. We've got all the Morning Blend co-hosts with us. We've got Pamela Musgrove, Don Sargent, Chester, Laverne Gardner, and Stephen Hanna, all with us on this special roundtable edition on this final show for 2021. And we're talking about the year that was and looking forward and looking at what we're expecting for 2022. All right, so what I've done. Oh, by the way, we've eliminated the intruder, the mysterious intruder who was in causing mischief. And we apologize again if you heard anything you shouldn't have heard. A lot of mischief makers out there, folks. But
I'd like to know how that was possible, Dwight. Off air.
Well, I can tell you on there, sadly, Zoom is wonderful and has helped us through the pandemic. But, we've got a permanent link, and a lot of people come on Guardian Radio, and people have had this link since last year, and obviously got into the hands, our password got into the hands of somebody who has too much time on their hands or forwarded to somebody else. And,
wow.
So not everybody is mature and sensible as we.
So can you at least with the link change the password?
Yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that
okay.
Today. So we're starting all over. Everybody who, how convenient it was. So for all of you who had our, thanks to the mischief makers. And actually I was advised to do this a few weeks back.
Yeah, I think every so often you should change it.
Yeah. Because that's how it is in the world today. Yeah. Oh boy. Anyway, all right. So what I did, I came up with my 5 what I choose. Yes, people preaching now. Oh, you're supposed to change that every so often. Yes. Yeah. Thank you very much. Again, we're trying to make it easy for the many people who utilize our Zoom link. Now we have to keep changing it. Well, okay. So I did my 5, and I want to hear your 5. Maybe there'll be some overlap, and we can go into depth on all of these. But these are what I think were the 5 biggest stories and lessons learned for the year. All right, so the election was the big story for me, I believe, and a lot of lessons came out of that. And I'm going to count this as it's also on the list, not necessarily number 2, but definite proof, if you had any doubts before, that politicians will say anything to get elected. And do not expect them to uphold or honor any of the things they promised you. If you had any doubts, and I don't know who would, but if you did, this year proved it. COVID, of course, a strong number 2, almost tied with the election, and that election shouldn't have happened this year. Just a lot of, this is my number 3, a lot of disturbing things coming out of the courts. A number of big cases were overturned by the Court of Appeal, and we're just seeing the cracks. And they were huge before, but really, really, there are big arrows now pointing at them. Cracks in our police force and their investigations and the methods used at the Attorney General's office. And what some lawyers are willing to do and what some judges, how they interpret the law, and how we need clarity. And we need our MPs to come with better laws. And it's not happening. And of course, the education crisis, that's there as well. We are, if we don't know it, we're heading to something very, very serious. So those are mine, and I'd love to hear yours, and we can talk about these. I'm going to compile a list, and folks, call in as well with yours, your 5 big stories of the year. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796.
Okay, so can I get my own?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, because I'm Monday mornings, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, sure. You go first.
Okay, so my number 1 will be the story of baby Bella. Oh. I think for me that speaks to our culture and how we treat children. While it in many cases or in a lot of cases don't come to that, but the level of aggression and abuse that we call appropriate or love that we apply to our children. Mm-hmm. So my number 2 is the pandemic. I'm still, I know the pre took about 3.5 to 4 years, but I'm still amazed that we are in the midst of the pandemic. That would have probably been my number 1 had not it been for the baby Bella story. Yeah. And then number 3 would be the elections. Yeah, the elections. Everybody, I think that's on everybody's list. Number 4 is our handling of the public school education system. I think we're doing a bad job at that. I think more can be done to improve, education for the public schools. It is said that education is the great equalizer. And so as a country, we have a choice. We can either allow education to be a wedge that continue to widen this inequality gap, or we can use the power of education to create opportunities for all, right? I came up in the public school system. My parents definitely were not rich by any stretch of the imagination, but it was because of education, and I must put in there the Lord, because without him, nothing is impossible, but education has helped to create who I am today. And more needs to be done to improve public school education in the country. And then my last one is the handling of the Grand Ducayan sale. And I only put that in there because all through your program, I told all through last year, I was telling you, it just, I was uneasy about it. I was uneasy about it. And to the point where, I felt that the Royal Caribbean wanted to, I guess, the negotiations, how our government was so easy to give Hutchison Whampoa what they wanted. But yet when it came to Royal Caribbean and the ITM group negotiating with Hutchison, they were like, okay, no, we're not taking this deal. This is not appropriate for us. So how we were so easy to just give in. But then when the big boys negotiate, is either take it or leave it situation.
Yeah.
So, and then to have the pride, to give them the Paradise Island made it feel to me that was what it was all about. We wanted that, and so to negotiate it with that hotel. So there would be my 5.
Yeah, those are
in
good
terms
ones.
of stories.
Just want to ask you how you feel about what we read earlier about how they'll table the agreement if the public wants it. Quote, it did not occur to us whether we should or not, but if you think that's part of the public, we could. That's Prime Minister Davis yesterday at the press conference.
I don't think you should table something if the public wants. I think you should table whatever deals you're doing, because you're doing it on behalf of the Bahamian people, just for transparency and accountability. See, I said this during the Christie administration. What leaders have to try to understand is you're not going to be in that position forever. So you have to do what you can to improve the system so that when you're not there, you have a system going forward that can help grow and develop our country. But if you sit there because you're in power and you hold back from people, and then when the other guys come in and you're on the outside, then you complaining about it, I think that is insanity.
Yeah. Well. All right. So who's going next? Dawn, Tuesday. Dawn, are you ready to go? Your top 5 stories of the year. Did we lose Dawn? Where's Dawn? Dawn? Okay, we'll come back to Dawn. Chester, what's
I'm here.
Yes, good morning, sir.
I think I have some overlap too. I think Bella was a big story, and I agree with what Pam said. I think the whole Bella situation, where the country's moral compass is pointing, and the things that we need to do to improve situations in children's lives here. And we have a long way to go to really nip that in the bud.
Yeah.
But that brought a lot of attention to some important points in this country.
Think anything's changing? Anything's going to change?
Nothing's changing fast enough. So we'll see. I mean, we still need the agitation from groups and individuals. And education is a big part of that. Pam mentioned it. It wasn't on my list, but that we need to improve our education system and take it seriously and pump lots more money into it. But the budget is what it is. Election, that was a big story. I don't really care about it that much, but it was a big story, to be honest. Okay. The cruise restart for me, that was a big thing. We had home porting for the first time. That could have turned into something big. I think the cruise lines never really cared for it. They just wanted to get started until things picked up. And they are never going to do it again.
Yeah.
So
as you know how I feel about this, we blew it. I think if we had done something amazing, they would say, yeah, there's a viable market here. We need to incorporate this in our itineraries. We did. We were so like blasé about it, like, oh, whatever. No, it could have been. I think people have been calling for Bahama Island cruises for a long time. Of course, some people wanted us, local people, to be involved in that. But this was a start, and we just were. This is how we are with tourism. We don't really take this thing seriously, and we don't want to do it ourselves.
Right.
We want to leave it to other people, the hotels and the cruises. You all handle it.
We take it seriously, but we take it seriously to leave it in other people's hands.
Oh, well, that means you don't take it seriously.
In big boys' hands. Anyway, it is. That is what it is, right? The other story, the straw market reopening, was on my mind, and I had been, because I was so confused for almost 2 years now why the straw market was left closed so long, when they had protocols put in place from last year for them to reopen, never let them reopen. Yes, downtown was a ghost town for a long time, but people could have still picked up some business from the tourists here and there who were staying in hotels, right? Because the cruise ships hadn't come back yet. But I was just dumbfounded that they were closed so long. And I felt for those people, and I heard some of the stories. So that was rough. And my last one, in terms of a big story, was Chantel, a nice one. Okay. That we made a bit of a milestone on the world stage in terms of pageantry. And I think you had a great interview with Michelle Malcolm. So that was cool.
Yeah, okay. All right, wonderful stuff. Is Don back with us? No, what did we do to Don? Where did he go? Okay. Laverne Gardner, you ready for us? Your 5 big stories of the year.
Sure. I don't really have to. I mean, and I think Pam covered my 5. She did a great job. That was very smart to go first, Pam.
Hi, Laverne. I've never met you, but
listen,
Dwight,
we are like great friends.
You are too. I love listening to you on Thursdays.
Likewise.
I hope our co-host meetup can be in Grand Bahama, right, Dwight?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You'll take us there?
That's a good idea.
Awesome.
Yeah, we'll stay in the Grand Lucayan. We'll stay in the Grand Lucayan. Grand Lucayan? No. Never mind.
Mm-hmm. So here are some definitely overlapping. For me, the Olympics, that was big for me. Of course, always everything with Grand Bahama and just, oh boy, my Grand Bahama, that's all I can say. Wow. Everything. The education fiasco, as I like to call it, in my circle, that happened that's been happening with education, that has been a major concern, and how we are, as a country, failing our young people and providing them with the opportunities that they need to be successful human beings. And of course, COVID, in the sense that COVID just helped us to see clearly. If we had these masks on, pretending as if everything in this country is great, is going well, COVID helped to, remove all of that makeup and for us to see all of the wrinkles and everything underneath. Yeah. And then the other one, let me see how I can pretty this up so that we don't get in trouble. Okay, yeah. The other one for me, you know how you already know something, but it's just confirmed. So for me, Dwight, going back to one of the things that you said, how manipulative politicians are. They know what the issues are. They know from being on the streets or people advising them what all of the concerns are. And they do things when they know that they genuinely don't have any intention of doing anything about it. Yeah. So those are my things. And then, of course, the election, because who really knew that it would be such a slaughter?
That is true. I mean, people were speculating whether it was going to be early, but they didn't really think it would end up the way it did.
We didn't think that it would be such a slaughter.
People thought it would be close, and that likely the FNM would lose, but that they'd have a a good number, a good proportion of the seats in the House. But in typical fashion, we've done a very large swing. Yeah.
Which never, to my mind, works well for the country, for the business of the country, but
Yeah, well, like we were saying, it would take somebody coming and saying, well, here's how we suggest you vote, because people don't know what the others are going to do. And so you can't say, well, let me put this one in because he's good, but what if that causes the other people to win? And so you can't in a system like this, unfortunately. Okay, so is Dawn back?
Still alive.
Oh, there you go. We're waiting for your five biggest stories of 2021.
I think one of the biggest stories for me, absolutely, I'd say top three. Some of them kind of overlap, but one of them would have been the unveiling of the contract or whatever the agreement was that was signed by the government and RCI across the Paradise Island. We kind of suspected that something was happening or some agreement had been made, but of course you didn't actually know concrete what was said. It was on paper. And when the news broke about that, I wasn't shocked or surprised. I was just really disappointed. But at the same time, it's like, I can kind of see this kind of coming. I think the second thing for me, too, was confirming to me that we kind of love the system that we have currently in the country. Because it seems as if, Dwight, when the news broke about the situation with Carnival, and not the Carnival itself or the whole situation with the health visas, but just simply that political parties, whoever's in power or is the government of the day, quote unquote, partners with the Carnival to bring them into town so that they can make some money off of it for the political party itself. And no one seems to have a problem with that. Besides you and I, Dwight, when we were on the show, just blew my mind. It was just like, so now I perfectly see and understand why we're in a predicament and why we deserve the governments that we owe. The absolute complacency with the system makes perfect sense now, why the country runs so horribly. But I'm not surprised. I think on the next big, ginormous piece of news, I think for me this year, also would have been the situation with, what's that department called, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Was it Land and Park or Beach and Parks?
It was beaches and parks.
Parks and
Parks
and Beaches Authority.
Let's call it the Parks and Contracts, right? The Department of Parks and Contracts. It's not a new scenario. What has happened there? I'm not upset that people are discussing it or people are upset because you should be, but this is such a bipartisan issue in terms of how it's been operating. I've known persons who've been double dipping with contracts in that under both administrations, right? Under both of the two parties. So hopefully this is a situation where, things are being addressed, but at the same time, I'm not naive. And this is just a situation of the ball's in the next one's court now and things can change. And by change, I mean the contract is going a different direction. Now, hopefully some more stringent act, but at the same time, it just really highlighted that of which I always knew was going on for successful administrations. And it just was more egregious and seemingly under the last administration, predominantly because we were under the gun essentially with COVID-19 and all the restrictions and also the contraction of the economy. So highlighting those things tended to stand out more because the economic situation was so deplorable versus in years gone by, like where you order a plane for Bahamas said it never reached. You spend millions of dollars and nothing happens to persons or any of the things that happens in this country. I wasn't surprised by it again. I'm just saying, just highlighting those things were big things for me. And watching the public reaction to it and how fast that reaction or how weak that reaction would have been tells me everything I need to know about why the Bahamas still functions and the way that it does. So those are mine, Dwight.
Okay, all right. And last but not least, Stephen Hanna, your five big stories of 2021.
All right. Well, first of all, I don't actually, it's hard for me to differentiate which year is which. Also,
yes.
I feel like, Dawn, you missed a real opportunity to be back, and I'm disappointed that no one has taken that pun upon themselves.
Good point, because if you're in Tief and you're in trying, right?
Right. So
okay.
I racked my brain in an attempt. I think after the election, my brain just went into like a hard reset. And so, and it would be an overlap. Everybody already said pretty much everything. I would say the death of baby Bella, but I feel like during that time we also had another court case about a child being abused, or like that is such a constant thing that I don't know if in my mind it counts as a large story because of how we treat it in reality. It's like it was an episode of a TV show for most people because there was a lot of upsetness, but then no actual tangible change. It's like we were all sad. This should never happen, and we won't ever say anything about doing something about it again.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I'm not putting it on my list.
Sadly, I felt the same way. That I mean, it's a terrible story, but it happens every year.
Yeah, but what are we doing? And literally,
nothing's changing.
Marco's Law has been a thing since Bernard Nottage was alive and in Parliament and in charge of national security. Like, I remember editing a video of Bernard Nottage in the House of Assembly saying Marco's Law, and it's going to be like the Amber Alert, and it's going to do X, Y, and Z. And that was 2011. And to this day, every couple of years, we'll hear somebody say, and we're almost there, we're working on it. And you know what's going to happen? By the time it kicks into play fully, and all the policies are in place, and all the laws are in place, and all of the telecommunication companies are ready to make the move, Marco would have probably been 40. Because that's how long we're taking to get it. And so I can only imagine how long it'll take for us to put policies in place, to put access to therapy, access to child, to make sure that Bella never happens again. How long that's going to take. All right. So I didn't even put it on my list. Vaccine rollout, because I feel like when it first dropped, I was excited for it, but maybe that's just me. The Olympics, like Laverne said, because we got 2 goals, but then also in that, I feel like I miss, like, it's great that individual Bahamians can accomplish these things, but I feel like it said something when we had teams winning, and this isn't a slight against Stephen or Shawnee. This is as a country, when 4 Bahamians or 5 Bahamians have to work together to win something, even if you go back to Durwood Knowles and on a boat, I guess. Or was he alone? He might have been alone. Never mind, scratch that.
No,
so let's go back.
He wasn't alone.
Okay, great. So he wasn't alone. But having to work as a team towards a goal, for me, as a symbol, as a metaphor, is something powerful. Because when we put all hope in one person, it's really a toss of the dice if the person wins or not, if the person is good for us or not. But if we're all pulling as a team, it says something different for me. But that's, once again, me being Stephen. So the biggest news story in my mind would have been, unfortunately, the elections, starting from all of the fringe parties that were stirring the pot of fascism inside the country, all of them, including the DNA, the House being prorogued, and the former Speaker of the House losing his mind and thinking that he was going to somehow ride some sort of wave back into the House if he could just speak in front of the House long enough. That did not happen, not a surprise. Adrian Gibson and Water and Sewage, you know, his mafia hit. Remember he said it was a mafia hit that was coming after him, the accusations. All right, so that, because I feel like that was a huge, gigantic thing. The election being called a day after the House was prorogued was a whole separate, different, large story than the House being prorogued. because then it was like, it caught people off guard because they were like, no, it's not. It was. Then the elections, depending on which side of it you fell on. And like Laverne said, and by the margins in which it was won/loss. And were there any good people who got swept out? Were there any bad people who got swept in? Time will tell. Time will tell.
Well, all right. I'm sure a lot already have their views on that. But, okay, great list. We're going to talk about it more in depth. We're already getting some people messaging us with what they think. We want to hear from the audience as well. So when we get back, we're going to extend this into Morning Blend Business. You can call us and tell us what you think. We'll give you the numbers. And let's have a great discussion about all of this. And Chester mentioned the cruises. When we get back, we'll talk about what the CDC has recommended and how much of a blow, if any, that will be for us after we've just been bragging about the resiliency of the cruise industry and the port, and everybody's so excited. And the CDC says, hey, not right now. Oh, boy. We'll get into all of that. This is a special edition of Morning Blend on New Year's Eve here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Everybody's here. We got Pam, Don, Chester, Laverne, Stephen. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
It's BTC, 12 days of Christmas giveaways. That's right, BTC is giving you free cash and prizes for the next 12 days leading up to Christmas. On the first day of Christmas, BTC gave to me free cash, free service, and a free prize from BTC. Oh, just pay your bill in full or sign up for any service, and you can be a winner with our 12 days of Christmas promotions. Merry Christmas from BTC. Yeah.
Physical distancing isn't the same as being socially distant. I know that sometimes it can be a bit difficult not being able to engage in the in-person social activities that we did before, whether that be going to the movies or just hanging out in person. But remember that different does not mean distant. As the generation of technology, we can get creative parties with friends and family, play online games with friends, plan virtual family parties, start a cooking competition among cousins, or do a virtual dance party. If you do gather in person, however, remember to avoid gathering in large groups. Always ensure that you wear your mask to cover your mouth and nose. And remember, wash and sanitize your hands often.
This message is brought to you by the PAHO WHO Bahamas and Turks and Caicos Country Office, the Ministry of Health, and the Healthy Bahamas Coalition.
John knows everything, yeah? Him say the COVID-19 vaccine have a microchip to track us.
Nikki shared on Facebook that Omicron is a transformer. It makes us shape-shift, and the vaccine is powerless against shape-shifting.
John even tweeted that the vaccine can make you impotent.
Stop. That information is false. Don't be a John or Nikki. Don't spread inaccurate or misleading information online. Misinformed equals misinformation. Get COVID-19 vaccine facts from WHO or the National Health Agency in your country. This message is brought to you by CSSF, Cyber and Technology Program, and Get Safe Online. Visit getsafeonline.bs.
There's nothing like the roar of the crowd. There's nothing like seeing that unbelievable catch and touchdown, especially when it's the Super Bowl. That's right, Bud Light fans. Get ready to get back to the stadium with Bud Light. Purchase a six-pack of Bud Light. We'll give you an enter-to-win card for a chance to win an all-expense-paid trip to the 2022 Super Bowl. You have until January 15th to enter at any Jimmy's Wines and Spirits and select official Bud Light retailers. See you back in the stadium, only with Bud Light.
Hi, I'm Levan Miller, and I want to take this time to wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas and a most prosperous New Year.
Do you know you can get your business cards designed and printed for as low as 18 cents a card? If it's a poster you want, you can pay as little as $6 a square foot. If your print needs are short or long run, digital printing, wide format, or print consultation, call the best. Call Print Masters. Print Masters' goal is to provide its clients with the highest level of personal, professional service. Our state-of-the-art technology also makes working together efficient and easy. Laminations, business cards, flyers, posters, window and floor decals are just a few of the digitized print services offered at Printmasters. Call 302-2361, 302-2361, or visit us at the Nassau Guardian Building in Oaksfield. Print with the best. Print with Printmasters.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, and welcome to Morning Blend Business, a special edition of the show on this New Year's Eve. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan, and this morning we are counting down the final few hours of 2021. We've got the entire Morning Blend crew here with us. We've got Stephen Hanna, we've got Pamela Musgrove, Don Sargent, Chester Robards, and Laverne Gardner. We've been talking about our biggest stories of the year, what we think. And I want to hear from you all as well. Give us a call, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, 24796. What are your five biggest, or whatever number you want to give us, under 10, please. And call in and tell us about that. And we're going to discuss some of the things that some of us mentioned earlier as well, getting in depth of that. Then we're going to get into what we're expecting for 2022. All right, so we have a few of your text messages here. Somebody says here, there are five: the pandemic and its effects, the education system breakdown, the national election, cruise ships coming back, and the failure of the healthcare system and the loss of nurses. Yeah, we did have a lot of losses this year. Definitely more than last year. It's been rough. It's been very rough for so many people. Yeah. This person here says their big five: the election, the education fumbling and mumbling, the unresolved murder of the 6 men in Chesapeake. Just those? Many unresolved. Crime 103 homicides. And then how we got swung by the Royal Caribbean and the Toby Smith issue on Paradise Island, and how we're second-class citizens, they're saying. Okay, all right. Let's take a pin in there right there. Let's talk about what the cruise ship industry is facing as a result of the CDC yesterday. And this is a report from USA Today. As clusters of COVID-19 cases continue to emerge on cruise ships since the Omicron variant emerged, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention warned travelers against taking cruises. The CDC saying in a statement, quote, today, which is yesterday, CDC increased the cruise travel health notice to a level 4, recommending people avoid cruise travel regardless of vaccination status. The agency noted that the decision was made as COVID cases are increasing on ships in the U.S. and around the globe. Between November 30th and December 14th, cruise ships operating in U.S. waters reported 162 cases of COVID to the CDC. Between December 15th through 29th, cruise ships sailing in U.S. waters reported 5,013 COVID cases to the CDC. That's nearly 31 times the number of cases reported in the first 2 weeks of December. In the U.S., the 7-day average of daily COVID cases has been around 240,000 per day. That's an increase of about 60% over the previous week. As of Wednesday, the CDC was investigating or monitoring more than 90 ships for COVID-19 on board. The CDC saying on its website Thursday that the decision to raise the warning level against cruising reflects the location of the Omicron variant of COVID. Chester Robards and everybody who wants to chime in on this, what do you make of this, and what impact will that have on the Bahamas?
The The only thought I have is people still on the CDC running.
I agree, Chester.
I mean, after the announcement the other day.
They're not.
I had two thoughts. My first thought was exactly what Chester said. I'm like, the CDC, what? Brush my teeth. That's number one. And number two, we already knew this. Why is this news? We already knew from the beginning of the pandemic that it appears as if these cruise ships, people in tight quarters, mind you, cruise ships are lovely, but people in confined spaces and tight quarters, it would seem to be a breeding ground for COVID. So the fact that they started cruising again, and now we're having these cases, why is this isn't a shocker?
Yeah, not a shocker, but the problem is it could prove to be a problem. It was a joke, but governments have already started to turn ships away. There's a report now about MSC being turned away from its own private island. I didn't really get into depth with that yet. So if there are cases on board a ship that is coming to your island, it might not dock, and then you don't get the people coming off. So it could become a problem. Yes.
Yeah. Well, cruise ships people, I'm sorry, Pam, because cruise ship people spend so much money. I'm sorry. Just a personal.
Well, prior to the pandemic, they weren't coming off. So this
is what I'm saying. Like when we did reports, it shows they don't come off, and the cruise ship people are known. Like prior to what I'm doing now, when I was younger, I worked in tourism for about 10 years. And we interacted a lot with cruise ship people. And of all the tourists, they spend the least amount of money. I'm just saying.
Yeah, this is true. $30 a head they spend typically. And they've had this debate as well in the Cayman Islands. There's also turnaround cruise ships about building a cruise port in Grand Cayman. They've been debating this now for about 25 years. And this kind of put a nail in the coffin for the situation now because of obviously the pandemic, but also all these reports, including from us, about how much they actually spend. But that's a whole conversation that I think we should have, but
But doesn't that say a lot about us, about our tourism product? That they feel that there's really nothing much to see or do here, and like, why bother? I mean,
because I agree with you, Dwight. I don't think the spend for cruise ship passengers is a foregone conclusion.
Right.
So the strategy should be, this is what the Ministry of Tourism and the stakeholders should be doing. Okay, how do we increase the spend? It may not be to the tune of what a stopover spends, but if they're spending 66, how do we increase that spend to 120? What do we have to do on this side to increase that spend? That's the conversation I don't think we are having seriously. And so
Pam is right. Pam is right
I think we actually have had the conversation seriously though, and it's also we've had it for years. The conversation about what is there to do downtown. The new construction of the new port, which is supposed to have a lot more things to do inside of it, a lot more activities for tourists to actually spend their money on. Hopefully, I'm saying, but we don't know if that's actually going to pan out the way that it's supposed to, but we'll see.
The bottom line is Royal Caribbean wouldn't be willing to drop $100 million on a new development on Paradise Island if they didn't think the people they were bringing here were willing to spend some money.
Yeah.
And see, again, this is a cruise ship. This is the problem that we have, in my opinion, with our tourism product, right? Nothing against Royal Caribbean, that's fine. So what happens now? The person pays for their cruise to the Bahamas, right? And the idea is you go to see sites, or you go to immerse in the culture of the people. So now you would pay for this activity, right? Who gets most of that money? Let's say Royal Caribbean charges their passengers $200. If you want to go to the private island, $200. Royal Caribbean gets that.
Yeah,
we may have
but
some bartenders or some beach chairs coordinators or whatever you want to call them. We would hire some of those persons, but most of that money will go to Royal Caribbean.
Yeah.
And then
But
we
you
would
see-
brag about, by 50 jobs, low paying, relatively low paying jobs.
Yeah, the economic
in the
footprint
end
is gonna-
help
isn't going to be as
our
big.
product.
But in other destinations, there are other things to do. And there are tourists who, like, I don't want to do what the cruise has organized. I want to do my own thing. So what's the off the beaten path thing I can do while I'm here? And that you've got to find a way to reach out to them, right? They're ready. So there's some people who are already doing what the cruise has them doing on the ship, and they're looking for something different. And we aren't doing enough to target those people. We're just, again, handing everything over to the cruise ships and the hotels. You all define
That's
the
the
Bahamas.
problem.
And that will never get us anywhere.
Exactly. That's the problem.
They should have let them do their little thing. That's great. But there are going to be people who want to do something authentic, something very different. And we aren't providing that for them at all.
But that's when you take your product and you put it in the hands of other people. It's just like you said. So if I have a business, if I'm the cruise ship, of course, I'm going to make sure that the lion portion of the money that's spent by a tourist stays with me so that my company remains profitable. But if you take your tourism product and the people to control it, to have their private islands that they can take people to, then this is what is going to happen.
Yeah.
So how do you get, even if you have the off the beaten path, we're not promoting that. We're not selling that. We're allowing them to craft the kind of product that they want to give to their guests.
Yes.
And we're just hoping almost for the crumbs. And like Pam says, hey, we're giving this cruise ship this entire island and every concession imaginable. But in return, we're going to get you about 100 minimum wage jobs.
Not even 100. But hey, we got a call here. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Are you there? I know you were holding for a while. 323-6232.
Good morning, Dwight.
Oh, okay. There you go. Caller, good morning.
Yes, good morning to you and your panelist. First of all, Happy New Year to each and every one of you.
Yes, same to you.
Same to you.
We've had a very devastating year in 2021. Hopefully 2022 will be much better for us as we continue to fight this pandemic. But the conversation you're having with regard to the cruise industry is a very, very timely one. And we need to continue to have this conversation on an ongoing basis so that the cruise ship industry is diminishing return investment. Because, as you have already stated, the cruise industry is in business to make money for the cruise ship shareholders, and they're not going to encourage people to come off their ships to spend money in your destination. They simply want to use us as a destination to say that they are an international destination, that they can offer a 3 to 4 day cruise. We're the closest port to the United States, which is the major market. And therefore, unless we do something about it, nothing's going to happen. They are devastating on our environment, particularly our pristine waters, dump their waste, they destroy our coral, etc. And then we turn around and give them our islands virtually for them to develop for their benefit. We get very little return on the investment. We as Bahamians have to encourage our government to incentivize Bahamian owners so that we could create attractions for those cruise ships passengers to come off the ships. We don't get, and so until we wake up and stop looking for handouts from the foreign direct investors who control our industry, we're going to be having the same conversation 50 years from now. It started 40 years ago with my father and others, and it's continuing today. Nothing has changed. We have to wake up, Bahamas.
Thank you so much, Freddie. Appreciate it. Again, Happy New Year to you. We got to move on, but I do think we should look at these as opportunities, though, right? I know I've done some cruising, and on the itinerary, I've visited some countries I wouldn't have if it were up to me. And some of those places had such incredible offerings that I have said, I have to go back. And I won't do it on a cruise. I'm going to go there and experience more of this wonderful place. right? So whether they come and they don't plan on being here or come off, but we have to have things in place that will make the people say, next time I'm going to stay there for days and I'm going to have a great time, because there was so much to do. I only got to see a little bit. That is not what we're doing. No matter how we try to fool ourselves, we're definitely not doing that. And something has to be done. We've blown it. We've blown it all these years. Yes, many cruise ships come here, but what are these people experiencing when they come here? And we've been talking about this for decades, and yet we just continue doing the same thing. More and more of the cruise ships get their private islands because, yeah, Nassau sucks. It sucks. Let's do our own thing, and we'll craft a Bahamian experience for them. And they won't know any different. The last time I was on a cruise private island here in the Bahamas, you think there were any Bahamian beers? No. Everything but. And there was Red Stripe from Jamaica. What? No Sands, no Click, nothing from any of those companies. American beer and Red Stripe. What's going on? You can't even.
I can speak a little from personal experience. I'll tell you, in some cases, it's not that Bahamians aren't trying to develop things. It's that there are so many roadblocks in this country to starting things. Yeah, the SPDC and Access Accelerator is trying and doing their best, but I haven't had success with that as yet, and I've been going through it. Finding insurance, like people do, even insurance is a roadblock. Like trying to get insurance, and the TDC is doing stuff to try and get shore excursion people insured, and the Access Accelerator as well. But that's a barrier. It's expensive. Getting things into the country, the government's done some things to try and help small businesses to get stuff in duty free, but it's still expensive, mad expensive, right? Some of the things that you could start up here or other places on a dime is going to take you $10.
But do you need insurance for a food stall down
No,
there?
but I'm not talking about, I'm talking about some
But
things.
even that you can't get, right, Pam? We talk about it all the time. We can't get authentic.
But Dwight, but what is the requirement? Because I'm assuming that the cruise lines will not let their passengers go to just any, they would not recommend or list just any excursion. So are there roadblocks there? What are they asking?
Are you sure
for?
about that,
so
though?
I've
never been anywhere where they tell you don't go there, please.
Oh, they tell you you've never been on a cruise ship when you pull into port?
Insurance.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the Bahamas is so very special they do that to our people, but wow. But everywhere else I've been.
When I went on a cruise very long, because I don't particularly like cruises, but when I went on a cruise a very long time ago, they would give you a recommended list of excursions. Mm-hmm. That's what they give you. So you get to choose. Mm-hmm. So I guess they have to approve these excursions first. So what are the requirements? What are they looking for? In terms for them for you to even get on their approved list. And I know Chester, I've had conversations with Chester with something that he wanted to do, and the insurance was astronomical.
My goodness. Wow. Okay.
It is. Let me say, Dwight, it really is difficult to get on the list. Like Pam, I've been on cruises where they almost kind of say, you wanna make sure that you take our advice and go to these places. You want to be careful not to venture here or that. Mm-hmm. And so then because you've never been to Mexico before or wherever you go, well, okay, I better go with these. They recommend them. And they do that. And part of it is safety, but part of it is also a perk. Because again, like I said, when I worked for a water sports company, we offered glass bottom boat. And at that time, to go on the glass bottom boat cruise was $15 or $20, I think. For the cruise ship to promote that, they got more than 50% of that.
Oh my God.
We were making like only $7 off of that cruise.
My goodness.
Because they were promoting it. And part of their promotion is that they sold it, they collected the money, and then you had to go and then get your $7 per person.
And so the government knows these things, but what are they doing when they negotiate, when they talk to them?
Exactly.
Let's take this call. Good morning, caller.
Jobs.
Yeah,
Minimum
that's right.
wage or slightly
Yeah.
above minimum wage.
Yeah.
Job. You should be happy for that.
Very sad. Business on New Year's Eve. Are you there?
Good morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well. Good morning.
Let me just say Happy New Year to each and every one of you on the panel, to yourself as well, Dwight. And Happy New Year's Eve and Happy New Year's tomorrow in the event that I won't speak with you again today. I just would like to say that I think Freddie's commentary earlier hit most of the points squarely on their heads. I think going forward, and what you so rightfully said about our tourism product, I think that there's still a lot of things that we can do, because there's still a lot that we are doing now that we have no desire really for, but we want to find innovative ways to come up with some new stuff. Let me give you an idea of what I'm talking about. You hear the passengers basically talk about the similarities between the islands and the different islands in the Caribbean and here. I think we need to find some innovative ways, perhaps get some of the participants on the low end, such as ourselves on the ground, to come around the table and actually begin to discuss, even though that you have some things that will remain. But I'm pretty sure there's a lot of innovative stuff that they have on their plate that they would like to introduce to try to change up the product that we, the T-shirts, the souvenirs. These are commonalities between the Bahamas and many of our Caribbean neighbors. Perhaps now we need to get the carvers in the room, let them talk about the innovative ways they want to create some new craft, talk about how they would like to perhaps get into the seashells and do something with that. But, in other words, what I'm saying is it's just the opportunity to sit around the table that bring about some new ideas instead of the same old. And I believe once we can get those persons to participate, perhaps we can see some things change here.
I'm telling you, and I've said it before, east of East Street is ripe for this. An entertainment district with pubs where you can go in as soon as you get off the ship and go in and listen to live music, see Bahamians playing music, their own music. Just a whole strip of places like that would be amazing. You can do that in almost every city in the world, but you can't do that in Nassau. No.
And you're absolutely correct, even from that aspect now as it stands, everywhere east from Victoria Avenue towards the bridge, basically a lot of Bahamians, even we, it's an eyesore. We talked about these buildings standing dilapidated, and what is so sad about that is that it projects the image of we as a people. Where's our pride? If our city is like this, what can people expect for the rest of the island to resemble? But, it is so unfortunate that we have these persons who own these properties, but yet we elect governments. And see, it's always going to come back to the government and to our 38 representatives, because the Bahamian people actually is the government. But it all depends on the 38 persons we have in our parliament, their vision, and what do we do in order to get our place cleaned up?
Well, it doesn't have to if we want it like that, right? So in every other place, major city in the world, it is a city government that does it. It is a city government that has it. The mayor and the city council and those people come up with the vision and the plan. You can't for MPs to be responsible for a vision for a city. And this is the problem in Nassau and in Freeport and in Marsh Harbor and everywhere in this country, because this is the weirdest system ever for managing islands and communities. You're going to get a cookie cutter. Every single government building is, what are they now? Are they pink? And all the police stations are green. Every single place you go, you don't know where you are, because we are basically a factory. But if that's what you like, Bahamian people, that's what you're going to continue to get in 2022 and beyond. But hey.
Well, I'll close with this one very, very last statement here, Dwight, and it comes back to we as a people. I think it was Laverne that mentioned about how we, the people, elected this big, these large numbers of parliamentarians from one party back into our parliament again, which I think is a travesty to any democracy. opposition is weak. That even if they have a good plan to bring about some tangible changes, because the numbers
Folks,
of
I mean, we
parliamentarians
can't
for the
run
other
on
team,
about this. We've got to change the system. If
Right.
your vote determines who becomes the prime minister, your vote for your MP determines this, we're always going to have this challenge. If I can vote for the best MP and it won't determine who the leader of the country is, you will see change. It'll never happen. We're going to have swings indefinitely.
Exactly. So in other words, then my last word would be this. We are our own worst enemies because we have seen this play out over the decades with these large groups from these parties. Nothing really gets achieved, per se, for the average Bahamian, but yet we still continue to vote these people in as a popularity contest who is not interested in doing what is best for the beneficial opportunities for Bahamians by and large, but yet we continue to do it. Thanks, Dwight, for taking my call. Like I said, Happy New Year to all of you in the studio. Excellent job that you guys have done, and I look forward to 2022 listening to all of you again, giving your commentary.
I'm gonna have to respectfully disagree.
Okay, which part?
Thank you.
With the majority of it, because the master will never give you the tools to destroy his house, right? And I hear, we need to change the system. But the system will never be changed from the inside. The system, like every living thing, is going to try to preserve itself.
So what are you disagreeing with?
I'm disagreeing with in terms of blaming ourselves and saying, which one is it? Do we need to do something?
Yes,
or
we have to
are
do
we
something.
Because wrong? Because that's two different things. Because we can't vote ourselves out of this hole. We can't. And then I hear you saying that we need to make noise and complain about it. But what we'll end up with is the Freedom of Information Act. We made noise and demanded it. And they're like, okay. And for 3 consecutive administrations now, we've had this Freedom of Information Act, dangled promise. Here it is. And it's either weak and ineffectual and it never comes through. And it never comes through. And so, we don't want the same thing when we talk about local government, right? And the way for it to happen and for it to work is that we have to do it extracurricularly. That is how you pronounce that. We have to do it. We just have to do it, right? We have
so
to.
You're not disagreeing with what we're saying.
I'm disagreeing
what are you
with.
disagreeing?
Good, you're not listening now, are you? I'm saying that we can't vote ourselves out of it. That's the part I disagree with. Right? Because we can't vote ourselves way out of it and we can't talk our way out of it. We have to actually do it. Right? All the people who are complaining and who see the problem and who see this is how things need to be fixed need to actually become actual community leaders, actual community activists, and actually move things forward in their own personal community. Because that's the only way we're actually going to get any sort of actual change to happen. We can complain all we want. The government is not going to handicap itself ever. No government official is going to be like, and you said it before, let me take away my power as an MP. Let me take away all this praise and worship that people give me. They're not going to do that.
Yeah. So you're not disagreeing though, Stephen, because
I am disagreeing.
I know I didn't say vote, but
you say make noise and we're not complaining.
And,
you say
and make noise means in other countries, right? I can't say that on the air, what I mean by that, right? But you don't sit back and allow it to happen indefinitely. I cannot say what I really mean, but you don't disagree. So please don't say that you disagree. That you disagree when you don't disagree. We're on the same page. We're on the same page.
I don't know.
You have to take a more active approach to the change, to demand the change that we want.
Right.
You have to take a more active approach. We cannot be passive any longer.
Well, we're being active in what?
Well, I can tell you off here, but I cannot say.
But see, that's the thing.
Okay.
One second. Let me just
But Stephen, you have to understand. If we try to change things, how are we supposed to get contract?
Right. And so, right. I mean, that's
I gotta
what
eat.
some people are going to say, right? But the whole thing is, all of us, right? If all of us are working together, then we won't starve. But and the only way for that to really work is for us to start in small, actual communities. We cannot make the same mistake that all of these third parties made, which is, I want to start off by being the leader of a country. That's too big a bite to start. if you don't want to go around your own neighborhood, then what gives you the thought that you will be a good minister of sanitation? Right? It's too big a task. You need to start where you are right now. There are changes that we can make, and those changes, when combined with each other, are going to get us to the point where we need to get much faster than us waiting for a guy in a three-piece suit to say, you're right, I shouldn't be eating all of this money. I should leave some of this for the children. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, and if we're on the same page, great. But I'm saying that I'm trying to give tangible steps as to what we can do to move us towards a republic, move us towards local government, as opposed to saying, because what people are hearing is, let's go on Bay Street. And we've seen that, believe it or not, at least 3 times every decade since the Bahamas was formed, right? At least 3 times. And we just don't remember it.
We've got more calls coming in, and we've got a lot of your text messages about the big stories of the year. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Are you still there? I know we had you waiting.
Good morning, Dwight.
Okay. Good morning. Good morning.
How you guys doing this morning, man?
We're doing well. Doing well.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Dwight, I can say what you don't want to say. See, most many people ask most boys to say, talk. My mother, my father, my grandparents, they were real beings. They fight for what they wanted, right? All you do, shut down the airport, shut down Paris, shut the whole country down, let everybody suffer. Shut down liberty. The bad laws is governed passing us. It's wrong, man. It's wrong. See, Dwight, you can't say they cut the fight. People may call Haitian stupid. Haitian stupid. They burn the place to the ground. American right now burn the place to the ground. People stop playing this country, man.
Well,
people just do much stuff. They want to keep coming, running them, keep them. If you qualify, go and deal with the PS and the electors. That's why this country is where it is now. We born over $800 million a year to pay some of these loudies. But that's wrong, right? And that's all I like to say on the matter, man.
Okay, all right.
The views expressed by the caller.
No. It's like, here's the thing. You guys know how the Crip gang inside LA was formed? It was formed because somebody had a good idea about bringing a neighborhood together. And then when that guy got arrested and he didn't articulate his idea properly, everybody was like, oh, we a gang. And they just started killing people. That's literally how the Crips was formed. The Crips was a social organization until the guy who was in charge got arrested. Right? And so what I'm saying is you cannot just tell people we need to be more active. And they don't, what does that mean? Do we go running? Do we go swimming? You got to tell people specifically what your idea is so that they don't go Strachan and tell me to burn down this house.
Dwight Strachan didn't. So let's go on. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hello, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Happy New Year.
Same to you.
Dwight, I've been listening to some of the points that people are expressing. The groups are in business to make money for themselves. Most people go in business to make money for themselves, not for you. The thing is, if you don't become creative or innovative, which Bahamians just look as if they don't have the ability to do that after saying the same thing over years and years. If you're not creative or innovative, you're not going to get any bigger share of the pie for the least. The cruise ships, and you express that they spend about $30 a head. Eliminate them. Eliminate the 7 million or 6 or 5 million that came here, then you won't even get the $30 a head. So the thing is this: you have to become creative or innovative, and being creative or innovative doesn't mean that you do wood carving. That is saturated. All you're doing is working harder, trying to get a little more profit out of it. So you've got to think about the ways where all of these people are here that you make, even dance shows. We don't have those. I think that like they have in Cuba and some other places in the Caribbean, even though that's not so creative, you still would get a bigger share of the pie. But don't look to government to give you anything. Don't look to government to go and strong arm the cruise ship industry and say, Bahamians got to come to the table. Nobody's coming to the table with you. You're there for yourself. You have to use your abilities, your physical resources, your technological resources, put them all together and see what you could do to make your situation better, to lessen or lessen the disparities that exist in this society. We've got the people coming here. You just got to think about a way to extract some money from them with what you have, not with, the government need to go and give you $10 million or the places on Bay Street we need to utilize. It doesn't work like that. That's not the purpose of government. Free trade, that's what I'm for.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I just gotta disagree.
I want to disagree partly with what he's saying. See, I think a lot of times in our country, we tend to think that, okay, you have to pull yourself up by your own bootstrap, and if you're not successful, it's because you're not working hard enough, you're not smart enough. But government is supposed to create an environment where helping to subsidize. Okay, in the US and all those countries, farmers, they are subsidized. They don't just go and farm and they sell their product. They sell it, they get the money. So they don't, then it's tough on them. Government subsidized. Private schools in this country, they're subsidized. So government needs to provide incentives for people. If you say there's a problem, if the cruise ships are asking for insurance, then find a way how we can subsidize it. Let people pay, but then government has to help. That's the role of government. I think we focus on government too much to give handouts. Give you some food or give you $500 at the end of the year and we should be happy. No, it's better to teach a man to fish than to give him you have to create the environment.
Another point on this too is just very quick point. Another point is I agree halfway with the caller, but the part I disagree with is, yes, you can say that the government, shouldn't rely on government, but the whole notion that he was talking about kind of led to the situation we have with RCI and Paradise Island now, or any of the bad deals supposedly that we make with any of these multinational corporations in reference when we sell land, where these deals seem 100% lopsided in the government's rapid pursuit of minimum wage jobs, or as they say, trying to spread the economic spend across the country. And then in the end result, we end up with deals, like I say, just like RCI, or what we saw was going to happen with that oil deal we were doing in Freeport. I'm just saying that there has to be a balance. The government shouldn't be absolutely lopsided in the directions of multinationals. And then when it comes to Bahamians, you're a second-class citizen and you can't get any of those things that foreigners do. Or it shouldn't be a situation where some people are more equal than others. I agree you shouldn't rely 100% on government, but government also should be creating a level enough playing field where innovation is possible. And if anything we know about this country, it has never been like that. So
I think we all agree that the government does have a specific role to play in that. Otherwise, why does it exist? If it's not going to do anything, if they're only collecting a check. But at the same time, I don't know if I kind of disagree with you, Pam, in terms of looking at it as a handout if the government subsidizes individuals, because while it may look like a subsidy or like you're given a handout, alternative is, will the government then tell all of these business owners, hey, you need to pay your employee more, and also you cannot go over this price on any goods and services that people need. If the government's not willing to do that, then the government has to come in and say, okay, we got to make sure that you don't starve. So
I'm not saying, Stephen, that they shouldn't do it. I think you should help. The problem is it's not sustainable. If you do it this year and you have to do it next year and the following year, that is not sustainable. You have to create the environment to help these people or help out of the situation that we're in.
But they're not willing to do the thing that would be sustainable, which is we have to make the Bahamas a livable place. The Bahamas is not a livable place. The Bahamas is a good place to visit. It's a horrible place to live. That's why even our second home people don't stay here more than 3 months. They're only doing it as a tax scam so they don't have to pay the IRS. It's not a great place to live. It's a horrible place to live.
Well, if you're rich, you might be able to make it.
If you're rich, you wouldn't live here. You would only visit. Rich people don't live in the Bahamas. Even the Bahamian rich people have houses and condos in Miami and LA and New York. No, they don't live here.
All right. We got to come back. We want to just read a few more of the text messages and then talk about 2022, what we're expecting. This is a special edition of Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business. Everybody's here with us. Pam and Dawn and Chester and Laverne and Stephen. We're going to be back. Stay with us.
See something? Say something. Call Crime Stoppers Bahamas in Nassau, 328-8477. That's 328-TIPS. Or from the Family Islands, 242-300-8477. That's 242-300-TIPS. Be safe and happy holidays, Bahamas, from the directors of Crime Stoppers Bahamas.
At Fidelity, the holidays are all about family, spending time with loved ones, and being thankful for the little things in life. Worrying about bills should be the last thing on your mind. The holidays. Let Fidelity help you get your bills under control. Fidelity can also get you started with a real savings plan that actually pays you interest. The only thing you need to think about is what you will do with the savings in your pocket this Christmas. Now that's what I'm talking about. Fidelity Bank is here for you this holiday season because you are family, and family is important to us.
Let me ask you a few questions. What's your name?
Pam.
Favorite food?
Steak.
Beer or wine?
Wine.
Is your money safe?
It's under my bed, so I guess so.
Are you serious?
Yeah, why?
Unless your money is in a bank or credit union that's a member of the Deposit Insurance Corporation, there's no guarantee it's safe.
Yeah, but what if something happens to the bank?
Your Bahamian dollar deposits are insured up to $50,000, so you'd still be ahead. Plus, your mattress might catch fire. Then what?
Man, those banks and credit unions are looking good right about now.
Visit the DIC's website at www.dic.bs. Protection for your money, guaranteed with DIC.
It's that time of year once again, and we at Screws and Fasteners World say thank you to our valued customers for trusting us with your projects throughout the past year. There's still some time left to catch us in store, so find us at the corner of Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, or call 326-1976. Happy holidays, and have a happy new year.
This traffic report is brought to you by Shield Insurance and Prudential Law Adjusters.
Final moments now on Traffic Watch, and there's nothing really to tell. Just a slight rise in the traffic flow happening across the island over the last 3 hours or so of our morning watch, and really no area has any serious congestion or delays for the traffic moving hubs this morning. Southwest Gateways has been a pretty good ride all along Gladstone Road to Mount Highway, and getting out of Carmichael Road on the Blue Hill Road, and the ride over the Blue Hill Road, same thing. Easy ride getting through the roundabout there at Tony's Way and Dolly Highway, and then Blue Road intersection. Wilford is gradually building up downtown, where along Shirley Street and getting into the Cumberland Street area, traffic slows a bit, giving you a little bit of a back of traffic there, but nothing to talk about either. So the morning flow for traffic on this New Year's Eve and basically all week has been extremely easy. I'm expecting that once the holiday is over on Monday, we will get back to our typical look of traffic for the brand new year 2022. But at this point, I can only remind you to take your time, drive carefully, and do your best to avoid accidents. This National Traffic Report is served for the Garden of Eden to be able to enjoy stewed boiled fish, chicken, pig feet, tuna, corned beef, sheepdog, or sauce, just the way you like it. Delicious Bahamian breakfast all weekend long, up until 3 o'clock and even on the holiday Monday. Call down to order and get your easy pickup directions at 819-5574. That's 819-5574. With your riders got to look at traffic in real time. Happy A-double-N.
Michael was in a horrible car accident. Prudential Loss Adjusters managed his claim and got him the settlement he deserved. Sierra's roof received hurricane damage. Thanks to Prudential, she and her kids are happy with their claim settlement. Tammy fractured her ankle in a slip and fall. Her time, money, and peace of mind. Prudential Loss Adjusters are here for you whenever a tragedy strikes. Call 322-4026 now.
Protect the things that really matter to you. Shield Insurance is the insurance company that grows with you to meet your insurance needs through this beautiful adventure we call life. From automobile to home to life and health, boat, liability, construction, and business insurance, Shield has affordable policies, flexible options, friendly service, and the expertise to protect your hard-earned assets. Shield Insurance agents and brokers in Nassau, call 356-7202 or Freeport 352-5945.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Should all acquaintance be forgot and days
are back here with Morning Blend Business on this final day of 2021, our final show for 2021. And Dwight Strong with you, along with all of my Morning Blend co-hosts, Pamela Musgrove, Don Sargent, Chester Robards, Laverne Gardner, and Stephen Hanna. And we're talking about the biggest stories of the year. We got a little, not really sidetracked. That's a big story, the tourism product and our dependency on tourism, and that we may be botching this and have been for a long time. So that's a big story. But let's get back to what folks think are the biggest stories of the year, and then we'll get to some of your predictions for 2022. Continue to call in and text us 422-4796, or tweet us or Facebook us. This person says here, my first story is listening to Morning Blend in the mornings and getting to hear that I am not the only person who's stressed and frustrated with what's going on in our country. Misery likes company and helps keep me sane. Oh dear. Happy New Year, and keep asking the questions in 2022, even if sadly nothing is changing. Oh, that's a little depressing, but thank you for being. Oh dear. Oh boy. Okay. This person says here, good morning, everybody. Dwight, as simple as shutting Bay Street off from Parliament to East Street on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturday evenings, and making a cultural dinner and a show in Rawson Square with various local chefs and venues, crafts, artists, etc. would be an amazing experience for our visitors. Yeah, I'm sure. And the cruise port says they're going to try to do some of these type things, but the Bahamians outside the cruise port could be involved in this as well. The options are great, and one of the last weekends, either the last weekend or the weekend before, I was downtown, and there were thousands of people. I mean, there's a lot. There was, I think, 5 or 6 ships in, and they needed things to do, and they can't ever seem to be enough. So we need to provide many options. We have multiple jewelry stores, right? And many of those, and souvenir shops. But yeah, I don't understand that part.
And shops with foreign people trying to put makeup on women.
Oh dear.
There's a whole bunch of those.
This person speaking about just that. We need to realize that most of the cruise ship money spent here is on excursions. Ask Majestic Tours or Bahamas Experience, Blue Lagoon Island, etc. Downtown does not offer anything different to them that is not found in any other stops they make. Bay Street is only jewelry stores and souvenir shops. No local entertainment or even a Bahamian restaurant with Bahamian food is offered currently. Yeah, it's getting harder and harder to find unless you go to Fish Fry, anything like that. And all the high-end restaurants are Asian fusion, maybe Italian, something else.
Why is that?
Why is that?
You know,
it seems like Bahamians wouldn't even go to a upscale Bahamian restaurant.
I don't know. Cafe Johnny Canoe is pretty nice. I don't know if I don't know where they sit on the scale, but you know, they're kind of pricey.
Not that high up. They're nice, but they're not up there. But Bahamians are willing to spend a whole lot of money on something else.
Another one, I'll put a plug in, but because they don't advertise with you, but Poop Deck. You know, that's another one. And I think they have arrangements with the taxi cab drivers to bring people.
Yeah. Okay. So also, yes, people still, yes.
And I think also you must have a product that people will enjoy, take pictures of, post on their social media page, post on their Snap, and they want to come back.
Yeah.
Bahamian food ain't supposed to be high-end. The only way you're high-end Bahamian food is to plate it nicely.
We can fuse it, Chester. You can fuse it. The hardcore Bahamian, fuse it. You know,
you put garnishment on it.
We've got the talented chefs who could make it something that people will come from all around the world to experience. You will believe what they're doing with food there.
People will eat what you serve them. The point of tourism, I'm going to keep this as brief as possible. Somebody start the clock, right? We are missing the point what we're selling to the tourists. It's not sense and see. We're supposed to be selling culture. Culture is the product, right? People, real tourists aren't coming over here just because the sun doesn't exist anywhere else in the world, right? Some of them are coming here because it's on their bucket list, but other people are coming to experience something different. It don't matter if they never eat peas and grits before. If we selling it to them like this is the greatest thing on God's green earth, some of them will at least try it.
Yeah.
But we're doing the thing that a lot of family island people do. I know Freeport people don't do it no more because they don't have no culture, but there's this thing that when you go to a family island, and it happened to me when I went to Cat Island, it happened to me when I went to Long Island. The only place it didn't happen was in Inagua. You go to a family island and you say, I'm hungry. And they say, oh, there's a place that sells chicken and fries. Because they assume because you don't want to eat out their Grammy kitchen, you want chicken and fries. And we do the same thing to tourists where it's like, oh, there's a nice Starbucks, here's a nice Burger King. And yeah, I'm going to call the names. Right? I see you shaking your head, it's whatever, right? But the truth of the matter is, if you go to the Philippines, McDonald's has a Philippine item on their menu.
Yes.
If you go to Japan, their KFC is different than the KFC in America. But if you come to the Bahamas, the only difference is ours have more salt. That's the only difference. Right?
Well, ours also has peas and rice.
Yeah, they're trying to incorporate.
Which one? Not no more. You talking about it? I talking about the Bahamas, not Freeport.
And sauce, and they had chicken sauce to it.
You talking about the Bahamas, not Freeport, guys. Talking about the Bahamas.
Well, at least that chain tries, but the others definitely don't, and so that's a challenge. But yeah, it's interesting points there. Let's take this call really quickly. We're running out of time. We need at least 2 more hours. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes. Good morning. I am
Hi.
wishing you all very happy New Year. I just wanted to say something. When I was coming home, I heard a few comments coming from Pam and the other lady, Laverne, in Freeport, and they were given their 5 top stories for 2021. I just want to say, there is more that can be done, like she said, Pam and Laverne, about education. Well, what they need to do is for the former and previous government, and can be done, they need to give their ideas and their thoughts, their opinions, right? Put it in black and white and take it into the ministry, because they seem to have the know-it-allness about what needs to be and can and should be done. Okay? God bless you all. Have a great day.
Same to you, and Happy New Year to you.
I just want to make sure people know I was joking about not being able to gourmet up some Bahamian food. Okay, that was just because I know people are doing it, and
mayonnaise conch salad for yes.
You putting out your disclaimer.
I got to, because I already got a text.
I'm sure.
From someone who's like, our culinary team wins all the time, and yes,
right. Make it clear that you were.
But we want to experience that. We want to experience that, and I'm sure
the cruise port
said
said they're only accepting restaurants and chefs who are doing just that. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
I mean, part of the thing that I don't know if anybody dived into it, but it's like it is difficult to get permission to get into certain spaces if you have an idea that is too different. So it's like, a lot of these places, hopefully not this cruise port, but a lot of places is like, oh yeah, we want somebody who doing straw and who can carve wood, but you won't be dancing. They're like, I don't know. And then the government don't want to give you no license to do nothing, because they're like, well, what do you mean you want to have a rocket in the water? It's a jetpack? How does that work? And then you can't get your liability insurance. And so that holds up a lot of the creativity, because like, we don't know what this is. And I know at least 3 different people involving water sport activity and water transportation that they could not get the liability insurance and the permission from the government.
That one you mentioned had to go to court.
And they didn't get it till the pandemic, right?
No, they got it before that.
They got it? Okay. It felt like they didn't get it till the pandemic.
Central government will often lack the vision, and that's just something we've seen and can continue to expect. It's not going to be easy if this is the way we do it. But I need to read these very quickly because we want to get to your wishes for 2022. This person says, can we stop complaining or downplaying the importance of jobs that the touristic developments bring? For a jobless mother with 4 kids to feed, do you think she would not love to get one of those jobs? Everyone cannot be an owner or financial executive or radio show host. When we reach full employment at lower levels, then we can refuse the foreigners and the developments who are the behemoths providing the jobs.
Okay, I think to that point, we're not saying that those jobs are not needed or essential. It cannot be the focus of job creation for the country. You can't. Are we putting our focus to diversify the types of jobs that we have?
Yeah.
When the government makes announcements, when they have press conference and they're signing papers, tell me where else. You may trickle in something in there. I know cryptocurrency has become the new thing now. And so you may trickle one or two in there. But for the most part, it is these resort type tourism jobs.
Yeah. And by saying this like this, Texter, you are diminishing the talents of this mother who probably could do so many wonderful things, but there's no outlet for it. There's no easy way for her to demonstrate this. And she has to settle for jobs, right? So the way we structure this nation is completely off. And I was going to say something terrible, but that will, anyway. Hey, everybody. No. I mean, I'm going to say maybe that's why she has 4 kids. Anyway, but listen, everybody say... Right. See, here you all let me down. Okay, quickly, everybody. 2022. What are you expecting? What do you think will be the big story of the year? What are you hoping will be? And what are you most concerned about? We've got like a minute only. Who's going first?
Well, my wish list is I want us to solve some of our problems. I mean, really solve them and address the deterioration in some of the physical and social infrastructure. Education, healthcare, and physical infrastructure downtown. Please, fix downtown, tax those guys, make them have a reason to want to offload the property or do something.
I second
or take it away. Take it away.
Tax them and then threaten to take it away once it reaches a certain amount.
Yeah. Steven, since you're talking, you go right ahead.
Right. I've been saying for them to tax them for a long time. I think that what I want us to do.
Yeah, really quickly. For 2022, your goals, what you think will be a big story, what you're hoping we accomplish, anything like that. Something.
I hope that we accomplish that we actually do stuff. That we actually go ahead and we say don't wait for the government, but literally let us not wait for anybody or anything. Just start doing the things that need to be done.
Okay.
And find somebody to assist you. I would find somebody to work along with you, but not necessarily wait until you have all the things in place.
Excellent. Laverne Gardner.
I don't have any expectations for 2022.
Oh dear.
Because it just seems that we keep doing. So I don't really have any expectations. The other thing I will say is also Freeport is in Grand Bahama. Freeport is not Grand Bahama.
Okay. People need to hear that. Don Sargent, what about you?
Especially people in Nassau.
Yes, indeed. Don Sargent.
So you continue this Freeport Nassau wise.
For 2022, I expect the deficit to increase, and I expect the next budget for the deficit to also set up for the following year for the deficit to also be maintained. So maybe it'll decrease, but I know we're definitely going to have a deficit that's massive. So that's my expectation. I am looking forward to how we navigate through this, considering a lot more places are going back into lockdowns. Some of we're repeating history again. Just looking forward to how we face these challenges and solve these problems.
Okay, and Chester?
I predict that the whole world's going to throw up their hands and be like, what COVID?
Oh boy. Well, I mean, is that a good thing or is that terrifying?
That's both.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. Hey, along the lines of what Steven's saying, I hope there's more action, less of this talk. We've been talking about the same things over and over and over again. We need to move this country forward. I've been hearing that a lot of exciting things are coming for come to fruition, and I think they might be game changers. So let's keep our fingers crossed, but we have to keep agitating. We did that list yesterday of the unanswered questions. We have to keep pushing for those to be answered and for things to move beyond this just limbo that we're in so often. But anyway, we got to go. Pamela, Dawn, Chester, Laverne, Stephen, I don't know if I tell you enough, but I really, really love you all. And I thank you so much. I appreciate you every morning joining us here and making the show wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you.
When we having the party, Dwight?
We're working on it.
In Grand Bahama.
As soon as the Prime Minister allows us to gather safely.
We could gather virtually. You can send food to our respective homes. So we
can that's true. You can send the food. That's right. Hey, there you go.
Because people say you've been waking the whole pandemic. Like,
right. That is true. We got to go. We were well over time. But everybody, all of our listeners, thank you so much.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Nice continue.
A healthy and a prosperous New Year, everybody.
May the contracts flow.
God bless everybody.
All of our sponsors and advertisers and the entire crew at Guardian Radio and the Nassau Guardian, thank you all so much And we're looking for great things in 2022 for all of us and the Bahamas. We'll talk again on Tuesday. Monday's a holiday. We're back on Tuesday morning.
May a mix be hot.
Business. Everybody be safe. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green coming up.
This is 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.